The 2026 Arena League season starts tonight as the Iowa Woo take on a brand new face in the AL, the Monroe Greenheads. Welcome to the Woo's new home, the Unidome on the campus of the University of Northern Iowa. Jason Stivers, Owen Sebring here with you tonight. And Owen, this is going to be an exciting matchup between two teams looking to start the season with a dub.
Through my entire life, I've been to the Dome a lot of football games for high school, for college, but this is the first time I've had a chance to see a professional football game played here under the lights at the Unidome. If you've seen any UNI football games, you know they love to give the outdoor temperature and then take it inside where it's 72 degrees, no rain. Welcome to the Dome as two teams are trying to start off the third season of the Arena League with a win.
The third season of the Arena League and the first season for the Monroe Greenheads, a brand new team in this league. And let's take a look at an impact player for them. Let's start simple. Their quarterback, Timmy McLean, number 7 for the Greenheads. Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, Timmy McLean, he's a guy who played college ball at a lot of different places, played for a different team each year of his college career. So he's been around. He's played in some different styles of offenses. Actually, this is not his first trip to the state of Iowa. When he was at Arkansas State, playing under Bush Jones as a junior in college, he came to Ames to play against Iowa State. The Cyclones won that game 52-7. McLean had 1 touchdown in that game. He was a 3-star quarterback coming out of high school, real talented kid and a good guy who you might want to build your franchise around if you're Monroe. Especially here early when you're trying to build that chemistry. And on the other side for the home team, the Iowa Woo, take a look at their quarterback, number 3, Vernon Sharp. Tell me a little bit about him. Well, it's his second season with the team, and he seems to be the guy who's probably going to be taking the majority of the snaps this year. He played maybe a little bit more limited last year, but this year he seems to be the guy that they're going to want to build around. Played a lot of arena ball, played also with the Amarillo Venom, not a stranger to the state of Iowa as well. He played for Graceland College over in Lamoni, and so Iowa fans are going to want to get to know this guy too. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in his 3 games a season ago. This is going to be a fun one. First game of the season in the Arena League. We'll get it to you after this short break. You're watching the Arena League. Back here in Cedar Falls, the referee started the game a little prematurely. So the Iowa Woo won the toss, and they will start things off at the 14-yard line. Sharp in the backfield will take the snap. The throw over the middle. Incomplete, knocked away by the Greenheads defense. Number 4, Joab Perrin knocks it out for the incompletion. 2nd and 10. Yeah, and we see, I know fans that are watching this game online or in person even are going to be getting used to a lot of new rules of the game, along with Jason, you and I myself are getting used to some of the new rules of this game. And so here we go. We're going to try to be explaining things as we go along. Of course, we only see 7 guys on the field at any certain time. And so we're going to see how this game works.
Receiver in motion, they'll hand off. The quarterback will take it, stay inside the lines, go and get a first down. right at behind the 25-yard line, and a first down for the Woo.
11-yard pickup there for Vernon Sharp, the second-year man playing for the Iowa Woods. Signal caller this season. He's going to be the primary quarterback for this team as they start the season.
And one of those rules we're going to talk about all night, the quarterback run lane. They can only run between the hashes until they get to the line of scrimmage. Then they can go wherever they please, but have to stay in there. Another play, 1st and 10. Pass completed. He keeps it on his feet. Gets to the marker. Will they give him the first down? Looks like he'll be just shy of the first down.
There's Leslie Owusu on the catch there, a Cedar Falls native who played a little bit of ball here at the University of Northern Iowa. Leslie Owusu, whose dad's a professor here at UNI, and gets them, looks like they're set up there, maybe just a second short. Maybe
a hair from the first down. Handoff to the running back. He'll run up the gut. And he has enough for the Woo first down.
I think we got a different quarterback in here. Conley's last couple plays for the Woo, if my numbers are correct here. This might be Ty Petaway. Looks like number 6, I think I'm seeing, taking the snaps now for the Woo.
That is correct. Played for the Cedar Rapids Titans a year ago. Handed the snap off and got the first down for the Woo. Petaway controlling the offense. 1st and 10. The Woo threatening.
You can have one player in motion, as you see there at the bottom of your screen.
He'll look to throw. Under pressure, escapes down the run lane, gets past the line to the end zone. Touchdown, Woo! What a play! Ty Petaway puts the Woo up first.
A man who was born to play for the Iowa Woo, full first name Tiberius Petaway. His nickname is the Wolf Man.
There you go.
Perfect guy to play here for the Woo.
Touchdown for the Woo. They strike first.
First touchdown of the season for the Woo belongs to number 6, the QB taken out of the backfield. Beautiful play design there for the Woo.
And they're going to go for, I believe, the 2-point here. Yes, they will, from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, this is one of those rules that's different than the NFL or a lot of games, is that if you want to go for the 1-point conversion, you do it from the 5. If you want to go for the 2-point conversion, that's going to be from the 10-yard line. So in this scenario, it looks like the Woo are going to set up for the 2 points from the 10.
And from the 5, you can't run. From the 10, you can run the ball. But they'll say nothing about that. A pass under pressure. Petaway to the end zone. Caught! A successful 2-point conversion. 8-0 your score.
There's Owusu on the catch, the hometown boy. Played for Cedar Falls under the lights here at the Unidome. He catches a 2. One interesting thing you might be interested to know about the Woo is last season they actually led the league in successful 2-point conversion attempts. So they're coached by a guy that is going to know, hey, if we're going to be doing a conversion from the 5 or the 10, why not go ahead and go for the one that's worth 2 points?
Pretty special for Owusu. Getting a touch or getting the 2-point conversion here in his home stadium.
Yeah, a guy who has grown up around the Panthers. Again, his dad is a professor at UNI. I think I might have taken a class from him when I was a student here about 20 years ago. He taught African studies at UNI, and so his parents are both natives of Ghana. They moved to Canada, moved to Connecticut, moved to Iowa eventually, where they've settled for the last 2.5 decades or so. And Owusu played his high school ball at Cedar Falls, then played a season at UNI, so he is familiar with playing games under lights here in Cedar Falls.
And here's what we missed in the break. The throw-off. We do not kick the ball here in the Arena League. The throw is short of the 10-yard line, and that's going to be a bad penalty for the Woo. Explain that rule a little bit. The ball has to get past the 10-yard line to be successful.
So they are staunchly against putting foot to football here in the Arena League.
Might as well call it handball at this point.
So they make sure that the opening kick and not even the opening kick, the opening throw off or after each score is going to be thrown by the quarterback from the end zone, but it has to get inside of the 10-yard line to be a legal throw off. And so that one I think hit around the 13-yard line, it looked like. And so, instead of the team just receiving the ball normally, that's a penalty, so they get the ball right at midfield. So that's where the Monroe Greenheads are going to be starting the setup here.
Their first drive as a team on offense. McLean will take the snap, pass to a receiver who completes it about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. So a good little completion there. And those throws are kind of nice to get, thrown a ball. Might not be the flashiest play, but to get something in your receiver's hands.
Yeah, one of those rules that is similar to the NFL or most brands of football is that it is, a 1st and 10, you get 4 down scenario. So that all is going to be familiar. So go ahead and do some short yards or go long like they are here.
A wide open pass.
That's Eric McIntosh on the catch there. getting it down to the 6-yard line for the Monroe Greenheads as they try to convert their first touchdowns of franchise.
A special moment. They're moving quick. McLean looking good so far. We'll hand things off. Run up the middle. We'll give them a couple yards closer to that end zone, down about the 3-yard line for the Greenheads.
Jatarius Turpin taking it down inside of the 5-yard line. And this, you don't see the ball run a lot in this game, just with the brand of football that it is, with it being a shorter field, a lot of open passing lanes. The runs are a little bit more rare, but sometimes that does help you get set up when you're getting close to the red zone.
They'll go for a pass. Wide open receiver into the end zone. Touchdown, Greenheads. Their first touchdown as a franchise, and a beautiful one.
C.J. Brown on the reception there, and he gets to be the man who gets to boast the first ever touchdown scored in the history of the Monroe Greenheads. You might be thinking to yourself, why the Greenheads? I did a little research on this myself. The greenhead mallard is a type of duck that's found down south in Louisiana, roundabouts of Monroe, where this team is located. And you see it on the logo that they have the duck wearing a red, white, and blue American flag bandana. This team has a close partnership with the Robertson family, who you know from Duck Commander, the Duck Dynasty TV series, and so they were famous for wearing their red, white, and blue American flag bandana, so they incorporated that into the logo as well.
They're going for 2 here. McLean in the backfield has time, under pressure. He gets down, but there is a flag. The first flag of the game, first flag of the season here inside the Unidome.
Yeah, good defensive pressure there from the Woos. They got into the backfield, and I think we might see a holding call. Yep. Going to be declined, and so the Woo are going to maintain their 8-6 lead, it should say. I don't see it on the scoreboard yet here in the Unidome, but 8-6 Iowa is going to maintain that 2-point advantage after the holding play there, and so they're going to get the ball on another throw-off, and so we're going to talk about that just a little bit more, because that really is maybe the biggest, well, I don't want to say the biggest difference, because we only have 7 guys on the field, so there's a lot of big differences between regular 11-man football and what we see here today, but one of the biggest rule changes, again, is this throw-off, and so as the Greenheads get set up to give the ball back to the Woo, the quarterback is going to take it there in the end zone, and he has to throw the ball before they reach the end zone line, okay? And the ball has to travel to the opposite 10-yard line or beyond, where the opposing Woo player can now take it just like you would normally for a kickoff. So here is the actual throw from Frederick Lloyd, the one getting the throw, takes it at the 3-yard line, and now he's going to get a chance to bring it back.
And he's running past the 10, at the 11, breaking some tackles, but gets dogpiled at about the 12 or 13-yard line, so that is where the Woo will start this drive.
That's Kyvon Smith on the return, getting it out to about the 13-yard line. Looks like they're going to set things up. He's the second-year man with the Woo, as the Iowa squad now gets a chance to set up their own offense again. Tries to, again, this is a league that does value offense and scoring. They want to make it an exciting brand of football for the fans, and so they make it a little bit easier, or make more opportunities for teams to score, and so that's why they implement some of the rules that they do here.
And we appreciate it as broadcasters.
Certainly.
A lot of touchdowns, a lot of interceptions, a lot of big plays. First play handed off to the left side, and a nice gain on first down. Ball will be about the 17-yard line.
So that looked like that was Vernon Sharp there on the carry, our featured player of the game. Again, as we mentioned in the pregame, it's his second season with the team. Played a little bit last year, and he's getting some nice carries on the outside. As we continue to see, I believe that's Ty Petaway or not even under center necessarily, but taking the snaps.
He's looking to throw here under pressure. The offensive line holding up well. Pass to the end zone, incomplete. Through the hands of the receiver. Oh, so close. Double coverage, but almost made that catch happen nonetheless. But a good defensive play by the Greenheads.
Yes, and we certainly are going to see a different style of ball here in terms of just the positions that people can play, because you are going to see guys who play multiple positions. You see guys who are moving around the field. You can see this guy who snaps the ball to the center is the only one who's not eligible to take a pass. So the guys who are on the front line there, they can block or they can go down the field and catch a pass too.
3rd and 6, a short pass, and that's going to get nowhere close to the 4th down. As a A bit of a scrimmage there, but refs able to break it up. So 4th down.
That's Trey Henderson, another second-year man with the Woo, coming up short, and so we're going to see a 4th down, which is another different kind of rule change that we see in this league. Is they have a chance to either surrender the ball or throw it away now, or excuse me, surrender the ball or go for it. If they were to surrender, the other team gets the ball, I believe, at the 15-yard line.
I believe so.
But they have a chance now where if they don't pick up the 4th down conversion, they're going to give the ball up wherever they started the play from.
4th down. The pass incomplete. Just a little bit out of the receiver's hands, a little too far to the left. And the Greenheads get a stop.
Yep, and that is the risk that you take in this style of football. If you don't surrender the ball, you run the risk of giving the other team the ball in plus territory. And so now, rather than if they were to have surrendered, Monroe would have been setting up at the 15-yard line of their own. Instead, now they're going to get the ball just 19 yards away from the end zone.
Let's take a look at the head coach for the Greenheads, Terry Bowden. A legend in college football.
Yep.
His first season at Auburn went undefeated. McLean going for the end zone. Incomplete. Trying to go for a shot play.
As we mentioned, this is a fast-moving style of football, so we won't have a lot of chances to break down the college coaching career of Terry Bowden. But
impressive, I promise you that.
We're going to give you a chance nevertheless. Terry Bowden, of course, he's a guy who made his name most well-known at Auburn, of course, where he won a national championship. But his college coaching career ended at the University of Louisiana Monroe, so just down the street from where these guys are playing. Now coaching them up at the professional level.
2nd and 10. Under pressure. McLean throws incomplete.
That was Apollo Johnson, number 44, putting on some serious pressure to the Greenheads quarterback. And as we mentioned again with Terry Bowden, going back to him, the head coach of Monroe, it was kind of a late-in-life surprise that he gets a chance to coach some professional football. Sounds like he's just really excited about this opportunity, not just to coach some football again, but coaching some of the guys that would have played for him. There's a handful of guys on this Greenheads roster who played for Bowden when he was at Monroe, coaching the Warhawks as well.
3rd and 10 now. McLean takes the snap. Under pressure again. Wide open pass completed. Near the 1st down, but might just be a little short.
Just right. Looks like the ref is already going ahead and waving him down the field. So they're going to get a 1st and goal scenario here.
So 1st down, a great pass by McLean. And watching some of his college tape, McLean, man, he is a great passer. And you saw it a little bit, as you mentioned in the open, played, a game at Iowa State when he was at Arkansas State. He's a great passer. As he's going to take one up the gut, maybe pass the line of scrimmage out to about the 4-yard line. Broke a tackle, but down about the 4, maybe the 3-yard line.
And here's another part of the game where we're going to see a new style of play that's a little different, is that when a team does get inside of the 5-yard line, they're not allowed to run the ball anymore. They have to throw the ball now that they're set up here in the 5-yard line. So it makes it maybe a little bit easier on the defense when they know a little bit of what's coming from the offense, because they cannot run the ball. They have to pass it when they're inside the 5.
Monroe at the 4-yard line. Again, they can't run the ball here. McLean in the pocket, will try to escape. The pass, ooh, incomplete, out of his hands. Had his fingers on it,
but incomplete. You saw him pull up short there, right as he approached the line of scrimmage. You saw him kind of stop because he knew, okay, I can't move the ball any farther than where I am right now. James Herrard just off of his fingertips and out of bounds. And as we spoke about before the game, I think you see some fans down there beyond the end zone wrapping up that football now, because if the ball does go outside of the field of play, the fans are allowed to keep the football. Refs, coaches, they can't ask for the ball back. They got to let the fans keep it.
And that is written in the rule book, folks.
Yeah.
So they are very strict about that. Now, if you're over by that wall, you're not necessarily the safest either, because the players can catch the ball over the wall.
Certainly.
So that's one of the great things about arena football in general, is there's a timeout called on the field. They can catch the ball at the wall. Their feet don't have to touch the turf in the end zone. If they touch the wall, that is fair, that is in bounds. If they go over the wall, as long as they hold possession of the ball, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, so you got to watch yourself. Caveat emptor, buyer beware if you're getting those tickets down in the field for an Arena League game. We're setting up a 3rd down now for the Greenheads.
At the Miller Lite field level experience. You got to make sure you're not taking in too much Miller Lite there. A pass from McLean. Looking for the open man. He can't run it out of the pocket. And he's under a lot of pressure. 3 men chasing him all the way back towards the 25. The throw! In time! Caught! Touchdown, Greenheads! What a play!
Wow.
Monroe Greenheads making a statement early.
Great pressure there by the Woo defense, I gotta say. I mean, they did everything they could on that front 3 to put Timmy McLean under pressure. But again, he gets it to C.J. Brown, who now has 2 touchdowns in this game as Greenheads take a 12-8 lead. And it looks like they're going to go for the 1-point conversion here now. They failed on the 2-point conversion earlier, so now it's going to be 1-point conversion because they're trying it from the 5-yard line.
I mean, you see that replay. Unbelievable effort by McLean. Just getting away from pressure. The 1-point conversion, not going to be good.
Nobody home.
Nobody home there. A little miscalculation. But nonetheless, they have taken the lead. 12-8 your score. 2:22 left in the first.
This game moves so fast. You and I as broadcasters are adjusting to how fast this game moves along. And one of the big reasons why is another thing that's in the rule book. There are no huddles allowed in this game of Arena League football at this level. And so the game's going to move quickly. The only huddles that you can have are when it's after a timeout, or like you see here, if it's a change of possession, they can huddle up on the sideline. But outside of that, it's going to be just right, straight, go-ahead offense, no huddle. It's going to be fast-moving. So that's why we don't get a chance to hear any of our witty and insightful commentary from up here in the broadcaster's booth.
You take the good with the bad,
That's
you know?
right.
It's so fast, you got to get used to it, but it's an exciting game.
It's interesting the dynamics that go into why teams might choose who does the throw-off from the end zone, because again, you might think that, okay, Timmy McLean's our quarterback, why don't we have him do it? But we've got Frederick Lloyd there, a different player who's going to be back in the end zone doing the throw-off, and so he's going to give it back here to the Woo.
And
that's going to come up short.
Just short, about the 11.5-yard line, so that's a penalty. So the Woo will start at the 25-yard line midfield in this shortened field. Again, there's just so much difference between arena football and, you know, what you're usually seeing on TVs on Sundays.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier with this throw-off rule is that it has to go past the 10-yard line. And so just like that one, it only went to the 11-yard line. So it was close, but didn't quite get there. And so that means that the Woo are going to get set up at the 25-yard line. So they only have 25 yards to do them and the end zone in this field that, of course, is half the dimensions. If anybody's seen Arena League, I mean, the field dimensions are about the same as they would be at any other level of arena ball that you've seen in the last 25, 30 years that the game's been around. But it's just half distance of a normal football field.
So the Woo now down for the first time in this game. The snap, throw to the receiver, catches it about the 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, about the 20-yard line. He'll be tackled second and about 5 or 4, depending on where they spot that thing. They're going to spot it second and 4.
Great game here by Leslie Owusu so far. He's been a favorite target there by the Woo quarterback, Ty Petaway.
And he's so athletic, Owusu is.
Yep.
I was, stalking some Instagrams and some Facebooks for this game.
As we do.
As we do. As a run up the middle will be about a yard or two short of the first down, third down coming up. And watching some of his tape of him just doing some, running around, doing some, ball handling skills. I mean, he is an impressive shape.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy that you want out there because this game does value speed over size in so many ways because we have nobody really on the line, and so you got to be athletic and you got to be in shape if you want to play this game.
A handoff that'll easily get the first down and some more down to near the 5-yard line before he's tackled. So a nice first down there for the Woo.
Trey Henderson taking the handoff there. His second season also with the Woo. He was a player of the week last year at one point in the season, and it's going to get the Woo set up in the red zone at the 6-yard line. That's all that separates them from taking the lead back from the Greenheads.
Now the good thing at your 6-yard line, you can still run the ball now. You're not at that 5-yard line. Past the 5, you cannot run the ball. But they're going to pass nonetheless. The throw to the end zone, just out of reach.
Just right through the hands there, Braden Bessie. Kid had a long, long college football career, and now he finds his way here to Cedar Falls, where he's playing for the Woo. Just got through his hands there, and they're going to get set up there again. Again, this is a perfect spot on the field if you're a team on offense, because you do still have options. As we mentioned, of course, when you're inside of the 5-yard line, you cannot run the ball. You have to pass it from there. So if you're on the 6, you do get a chance to do whatever you want. But it looks like what the Woo want to do right now is we're not going to take a timeout. It actually is the end of the first quarter now. Boy, that thing flew right by.
I know, right? End of the first quarter, 12-8 your score. Greenheads up over the Woo. Little short break here, a little breather for these guys. Again, that's another thing too. A lot of these guys on this team play offense and defense. So, and a good breather for them, and we'll take a breather as well. We'll step away for a short break. Start of the second quarter coming on your way. You're watching the Arena League.
Just trying to see if these.
Start of the second quarter, a run up the middle will get down all the way to about the 1-yard line. It's everyone's first game here. And the start of the season, and the timing between us at the broadcast and the officials downstairs is a little off still, but we're working on it.
That's Kyvon Smith getting it down to the 1-yard line. The Woo taking advantage of their last chance to really run the ball when they're set up here at the 6. And so from this point on, they have to pass the ball if they want to get to the end zone.
And pass they will. Runners in motion. Fake handoff. Pass to the back of the end zone. Out of play, incomplete. Made a good attempt at it at the wall, but couldn't hang on to it. 3rd and 1 now.
And just right over the boards. There was Smith again. Something again to adjust to when you're at this level too is that just getting used to the fence being there. I feel like he had a chance to catch that, but that wall right there maybe came up a little gun shy.
And now 4th and 1 for the Woo. Just a yard separating them and pay dirt. There's a snap. Looking for a man to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Woo. A great pass into the end zone for 6.
There's Kyvon Smith, the guy who just missed out on the touchdown catch in the previous play. On 4th and 1, the Woo come up and they retake the lead. It's now 14-12. Now the decision, do they want the 1-point conversion or the 2? Looks like they're going to go for 2 once again from the 10-yard line. So they have the option from here to either throw or pass the ball if they want.
They're getting greedy, going for 2.
Why not?
Successful on the first one. We'll see if they can go 2 for 2. The pass. Looking for a man. Back of the end zone. Over the wall, out of play, unsuccessful for the Woo. So they'll settle for 6. And they take the lead, a 2-point lead over the Monroe Greenheads, 14-12.
See number 12 down there in the pink jersey celebrating getting the souvenir. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, if you're a fan that comes to this game and the ball goes into the stands or goes beyond the field of play, you got yourself a souvenir. That's free for anybody to take home once the ball goes outside of the field of play. So he seems got to provide a lot of footballs, frankly, when they come to a game like this, because if you're going to be losing these to fans every time it goes out of the field, got to make sure you've got 20, 30 balls on hand to play with.
Absolutely. Got to make sure they're stocked up, especially with the amount of offense you see in these games. They're throwing the ball over the place. So again, 14-12 your score, Woo up 2.
Now, of course, we saw with the Greenheads, they have a different quarterback versus who's going to be doing the throw-off for them, but it looks like the Woo are going to be taking a different approach. This is a quarterback, Ty Petaway, who's doing the throw-off.
Petaway delivers a dart. And that gets down to the 5-yard line, back into the end zone, and they will take it out. But a great defensive play by the Woo. And they're down. The Greenheads are at the 1-yard line. What a play.
That's the risk you run when you choose to take it back, and that really was the perfect type of pass, a throw-off, I should say, as they were throwing it down the field. You want something that's going to bounce up in the air, not get to the end zone, so they can't do a touchback. You want to be able to make it a playable ball and get your players down the field for them to make a tackle. And so this is a long field in front of them for the Monroe Greenheads.
But they're more than capable. McLean has played a good game so far. They're going to give him the 2-yard line, so nonetheless, McLean starting in the end zone. First pass broken up, back to McLean. He's going to take off. He's going to get about 7 or 8 on that run. A broken play, but nonetheless, a positive gain for the Greenheads.
That's the type of playmaking ability you want out of your quarterback. Timmy McLean catching the ball that he threw himself, and he gets it back out to the 7-yard line. So sets up his team for a 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5. McLean takes a snap, fakes handoff. Over to a wide open receiver, drops it, incomplete. And he taps his jersey. He knew that was his bad.
Maybe a little bit of case of alligator arms there. He saw Ahmad Butler coming right at him, a guy who finished college a couple of years ago. He won a Division II national championship with Harding University. He's a big hitter there for the Woo defense, and
probably be scared too if I was
want any piece of that.
If I was that receiver. So 3rd and 4 for Monroe. The pass low. McLean able to connect. And he's under pressure. He's just got to throw it away, and nobody's there to receive it. Jatarius Turpin was there, couldn't make the grab.
Yeah, well, I've really been impressed with the Woo defense so far. Tim McLean has played great, but he's been under constant pressure in this game, and that was another one where they had him just about all but wrapped up. Ended up being an incomplete pass, and looks like the Greenheads are setting up to go for it on 4th down. This is going to be risky because if they don't make it here, the Woo are going to get the ball right there at the 13-yard line. The coach is coming down, and then Coach Terry Bowden going to have himself a word with the officials.
He's not very happy about something here. And they're going to surrender it here. They changed their mind.
Yeah, smart.
And really a smart move there. Backed up really, really deep. So our first surrender of the 2026 Arena League season. Again, there's no kicking in this game. We don't put ball to foot. So it'll go to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, so just to run over that rule again, if you're a team that's faced with a 4th down on offense, you have the chance either to go for it or surrender the ball, which surrendering gives the team the ball at the 15-yard line. But if the Greenheads had gone for it there and not picked up the 1st down, then it would work like it does in traditional football, where the Woo would have gotten the ball there at the 13-yard line. So it's more often than not, if you're playing in your own field position in front of the 25-yard line, you probably just want to go ahead and surrender the ball unless you're desperate.
So 1st and 10 for the Woo at the Greenheads 15. Quarterback takes the snap. Looking deep. He's got a man. Double coverage. Intercepted. Monroe interception. The quarterback a little underthrown into double coverage, and that's never a good thing.
Dangerous throw down the field. Came up underthrown with 2 receivers there in coverage, and that was Jalen King coming up with the interception. So right as the Woo got the ball back after a turnover on downs, a surrender on downs, if you want to call it that, the Greenheads take the ball right back, just about where they gave it the ball from. They're back now at the 13-yard line once again.
So now 1st and 10 for the Greenheads as one play gets them the ball back. So the first interception, probably not a stat you want to record so early, but nonetheless, the Greenheads looking to get back on top. McLean under pressure, throws over the middle, and nobody's there.
Boy, I've really been impressed with Apollo Johnson in this game. He's at number 44, playing on the defensive line. He's put so much pressure there on Timmy McLean. Hasn't gotten a sack yet just because of McLean's escapability, but Apollo Johnson has been playing great so far. He's forced this offense for the Greenheads to slow down, hasn't given them any room to work with.
So 2nd and 10 now. And this Woo defense was very good last year. Had a lot of interceptions. McLean aired it out. Got a receiver. Got a touchdown. A beautiful throw from McLean. Airs it out. And a receiver's there to collect it.
That would be wearing number 0, Quad Smith. That guy is about as fast as they come. He won a state track championship when he was in high school in the 100 and the 200. He was a junior Olympian in track. He ran collegiate track and field and played football at Akron University. That guy has some serious speed.
And some NFL teams have been looking at him. He went to several mini camps this last year. And one of the interesting things, as I was doing my research for this game, he got personally invited by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to a UFL camp a couple years back. So teams have been taking interest, and he's putting in a good performance. And man, McLean, I was talking about that arm earlier, and he shows it again there. And a timeout called right before the snap.
Yep, looks like Coach Bowden wanted a timeout. You see him walking around out there on the field, and that's one rule that anybody who's familiar with Arena League has probably seen something similar to this before, where the coaches are allowed to be out on the field. They can have one coach out there walking around on the turf as the game is going on. So Bowden, he's been actively moving up and down that field, getting his step count in as the Greenheads reassess things here as they are about to go for a 2-point conversion. Setting up there at the 10-yard line, so they have the option to run or pass, and if they are able to get a successful conversion, of course, again, that's going to be worth 2 points, as they have right now taken a 4-point lead, looking to stretch to 6.
And a 2-point would be important here. Again, there's no field goals, no 3, it's touchdown or bust. So those extra 2 points can matter a lot. So they're still going for 2. McLean in the backfield, he'll take the snap. Looking for a man, under pressure, escapes. Throw way out of play. An unsuccessful conversion. McLean goes down hard, and he is down. And man, he looks hurt.
Yeah, some serious pressure again from the Woo defense. Got to him that time. Dropped him hard. And McLean down in the field now, already taking his helmet off, it looks like. Took a big shot on that one.
I mean, that's great defense by the Woo, but a rough hit there taken by McLean. And they're going to take a good look at him.
And that's I mean, you know, it's easy to say, as long as you wouldn't want to see anybody get injured, he's the last guy that you want to see leave the field if you're the Greenheads, just because of the dynamic style of play that he brings to the field. He's been so good in the backfield so far. As a left-hander, he's been able to escape pressure from the Woo front line. Yeah, he's a playmaker. He played Division I ball for 4 years of college, finished up at Bethune-Cookman. He's a talented player, and so he's a guy that the Greenheads are going to have to take off the field for a little bit, but they're hoping, I imagine they'd be hoping to bring him back here later in the field if he's able to.
Up under his own pressure on his own 2 feet, certainly a good sign for Monroe. So he will head back and presumably get looked at. So the conversion unsuccessful, 18-14 your score. Monroe still taking the lead over the Woo. They're up 4.
One thing I don't like to see there is him. He walked immediately as he left the field. He walked straight over to the trash can. Looked like he might be sick. He looked like he might vomit, which is indicative sign often of a concussion. Is nausea. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to be making any predictions about what kind of injury was that he suffered, but that is sometimes a telltale sign that somebody has at least some concussion-like symptoms.
And they're taking a look at him down on the sideline. The great staff here at the Unidome. A lot of the staff here working this game are UNI students. As that pass nowhere close to the 10-yard line. And that's going to start the Woo out at midfield.
Jason, if somebody challenged you to throw the ball 40 yards, could you do it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I don't think that I could either. Now,
I think
I'm also not an Arena League football player, but we have seen so far, I believe that's the third time we've seen the throw-off come up short of the necessary 10-yard line, which results in a penalty. So I guess that just goes to show that throwing it 40 yards is not always a piece of cake. That's not maybe as easy as it sounds for the layman who's watching at home. This isn't Jamarcus Russell out there who's just throwing 80-yard bombs. These guys, it does take a little bit of work to make sure that ball gets down the field a ways.
I will say my sports experience ended at Little League. So there's a reason that I'm on this side of the field and not that side. I'll say that. I don't think I could do that if you give me a million chances. So the Woo will get started in midfield at the 25-yard line, down 4 to the Monroe Greenheads. Vernon Sharp in the backfield. He'll take the snap, hand it off, run up the right side, and he'll get a nice gain. Looked like he might have got stopped right away, but pushed the pile a little further, about a 4-yard gain on first down.
There was Owusu taking the handoff there, a dynamic, do-it-all type of player. We've seen him catch passes so far there. He was taking the handoff from Petaway. Owusu, a talented player, as we mentioned, coming right out of here, coming from Cedar Falls. And as I mentioned earlier, one player can be in motion each play. With Owusu set up behind the snap, yep, he's going to be the player in motion.
And that play, a handoff, runner getting down just shy of the first down. That was Sharp taking the ball into his own hands.
Yeah, moving the ball down the field nicely. They can approach the field as they like right here, still setting the stage and making sure that they keep things multiple, keep a lot of guys involved in the offense with Petaway and now Owusu in motion again.
And that pass, the middle, intercepted, deflected, and intercepted by the Greenheads, their second of the game.
Boy, the Woo are getting their chances. The Greenheads have had to turn the ball over to them a couple times now, but the Woo now just keep giving it right back. And it wasn't necessarily much that the quarterback could do there, just went right off the hands of the receiver there, Trey Henderson, and just happened to wind up in the hands of the Greenheads there. So unfortunately for the Woo, Greenheads are going to take back over again, trying to extend that 4-point lead. What's interesting now is who we're going to see. And it looks like McLean's come back out there at quarterback. Boy, I thought that he might have to be off the field a little bit longer, but Timmy McLean coming right back out there to take the snaps.
Dakarian Jackson with that pick. And this was a stat I found online when I was looking at Dakarian Jackson. Had 24 interceptions in a single season of high school ball.
Wow.
McLean aired it out to the end zone. Ooh, close.
No.
And that's going to be pass interference on the defense there. A little bit too much contact for the officials' liking.
Yep. That's part of this game that does resemble the NFL is how you're going to see pass interference. And Jamie Vicente Colon, that was clear PI there in the end zone.
About as clear as you can get for an official. A 10-yard penalty. So they will move the ball up 10 yards, which I know it seems like 10 yards. You see regular football, full-size college NFL. 10 yards not that much, but here that's
20% of the field.
Absolutely.
That's moving the ball a lot, giving the offense a lot to work with.
So 1st and 10 after the penalty. McLean takes the snap. Looking for a man. Under pressure again. And he's getting taken down again. And a sack down to the 15-yard line by the Woo. A swarm of Woo in there.
Great pressure again, as they have all game long. Apollo Johnson getting in there, teaming up for the sack. McLean has been escaping the pressure so far, but that time nowhere to go, nowhere to put the ball, so down he goes, and it's going to be second down for the Greenheads.
Johnson played for the Cedar Rapids Titans last year, had 4 sacks, had 12 tackles for losses. 2nd and 16 after the sack. McLean looking for a man down the field. Will air it out again, and that is... It looks they came up with it, the Woo did, and they're going to take it back. They're going to let this thing play out. He's hard tackled about the 11-yard
down goes
line.
Terry Bowden. The coach is down on the field. He got hit.
Oh, man.
He took a shot there from the guy who was returning the interception, and Coach Bowden is still down on the field.
You do not want to see that. As our sky judge informs us they're going to take a look at this. But, oh, man. And, of course, we're not going to show you that, but, man, that did not look good. As there's some jawing on the field now between the teams. I mean, understandably so in that situation. You never want to see your head coach going down. Oh, man.
Yeah, just to verbally walk through the play here. There was an interception by the Woo in the end zone by number 21. He was able to take it back, and this is the risky run when you're in the Arena League and you do allow coaches on the field. Yes, it gives the coach more access to the field of play and what's going on the field, but it also puts him in harm's way much, much more seriously in a play like that, where Bowden was standing on the sideline and just happened to get mixed up right in the scrum of where those players were getting brought down the field. And number 21 for the Woo, Jamie Vicente Colon, who got called for the pass interference a little bit earlier, he was bringing it back and just got tackled right into him. And Coach Bowden hit the ground hard.
And this is good news. He's up now. Yeah, it's an unfortunate part of this game, you know. You allow coaches to get on the field, and a fast play like that happens. I mean, these guys are fast. So.
And then we still see the players and some of the other staff, training staff, coaches checking on Coach Bowden. Ooh, but yeah, you can tell he's woozy, shaken up.
And Terry Bowden, one of the legends of college football. So used to calling softball, I just still in it, you know?
Yeah, Bowden, of course, you know that last name, Bobby Bowden, the legendary coach at Florida State, is his father. Terry got into coaching in the 80s and 90s. As you mentioned earlier in the game, he's a guy who took over at Auburn and won a national championship with an undefeated season in his very first year with Auburn University. Coaching family, of course, with Bobby as his dad. His dad won a national title. He won a national title. He's got a brother who won a national title. He finished his career at the University of Louisiana Monroe, which is how he got this connection to the team. He relocated over there, and then when this Monroe Greenheads franchise came around, he obviously would have been one of the first guys to get the call, and just kind of he was a guy who retired after over 40 years in coaching. His first job was in '82. His last job was in 2023 at college ball, and so he's been around a long time.
And as you saw on the screen briefly, they are bringing out the stretcher right now and the medical equipment, as you can see on that nice camera angle. You don't want to see that, obviously, but
yeah, you don't want to take anything for granted. Take no risks, especially with a guy who's a 70-year-old coach like this. This isn't one of the young players like a Timmy McLean who can get banged up and head back out there on the next drive. Terry Bowden is 70 years old, and we've got to make sure that this guy's taken care of.
The EMTs, the great medical staff here at the University of Northern Iowa and Cedar Valley, Cedar Falls, we'll take a look at him. And he was up for a second there. I believe he still is up, and they might just be making sure, obviously, for all the reasons you mentioned earlier, just making sure that he's all right. This is a tough game for everybody.
Yep. Bowden is standing on his own right now, still talking to some of the training staff as they take a look at him. standing next to the stretcher. I wonder what the conversation is right now. If he wants to try to stay out there, if he wants to go to the stretcher on his own, if they feel like he's able to. He's talking. He's having a conversation right now. You can see him speaking and mentioning, just talking to the training staff down there. As you see right now, the players gathered at midfield saying a prayer for the coach of the Monroe Greenheads.
And great moment of solidarity between two teams. The first game of the season, and we'll mention this. He was a running back in college. Got one of our officials up here told us, made sure to inform us that. So he's tough.
Yep.
He's about tough as it gets.
And played for West Virginia.
And he's smiling there. You see him.
Yep.
He's in good spirits, and that's obviously great to see.
Yeah, one of these guys who's just a lifelong coach. You know, obviously his dad, Bobby, is one of the great all-time legends of college football. He had his own run where he coached in college for over 40 years. And even after he left the University of Louisiana Monroe, he coached over at the Delhi Charter School in Louisiana as an assistant coach. And so it's a guy who, you know, when you get coaching in your blood, sometimes it's hard to give it up. And this is a guy who hasn't been able to give it up for the last 45 years.
And he's telling him, I think he wants to stay out there. He is.
I think you might be right.
It's all smiles, which is obviously great to see. He's a tough one.
Yep.
About as tough as they come.
Still trying to wave everybody off. Even if he stays out there, I'd like to maybe see him head behind the boards there and maybe take a seat with some of the fans, just so he's out of harm's way for the rest of the game.
Well, obviously that's great to see. Saw the players praying for him as the crowd here gives a round of applause. And obviously this is a team sport. Everybody's competitive, but you never want to see something like that. And it's great that he seems to be all right. They're going to put him on the stretcher maybe just in case.
Yep.
I think he was maybe resistant to get on there, but
yeah, it doesn't hurt at this point after taking a fall like he did. And he's a guy who must be such a likable coach to play for too, because as we mentioned, he coached at the University of Louisiana Monroe. A lot of these guys on the Greenheads roster played at that school, would have played under him. Not only those guys, but Quad Smith, who we mentioned played for Akron. Bowden actually coached at Akron as well, and so he's another guy who would have played under him. And so he's just a guy that once you play for him one time, you know, you must want to come back for him. If he ever gives you a call to come back and play for him again, you're probably not going to say no.
And I think Coach Bowden would agree with this decision to keep playing the game.
Yeah.
He's all right. He'll get looked at, I'm sure.
The training staff is cracking up down,
they are.
down there. As you see, Bowden is never a dull moment with this guy. He's working on his type 5. Got to stay on a routine working out of this.
You always got to have another career path, you know?
That's right.
You always say that in the world of media. You got to have a second option, and you know, coaching's just the same. Got to have a second option, and he's got one there as they will take him off the field, make sure he gets the care he needs here in the Cedar Valley. He gives a wave to the fans here in the stands, a wave to his players, and that's good to see right there. And this game will continue after a moment. The coach, or the referee there, making sure to give him a fist bump, all the Iowa Woo players as well. That's a good moment to see. Obviously, a terrible moment that happened, but good to see everybody, you know, showing some sportsmanship. And they always say football is family, and even between teams, you know, it's still, you all play one game.
Yep. Yeah, and these guys who are all out here trying to extend their career, trying to enjoy themselves, still play football a little bit longer.
1st and 10 for the Woo. After the unsuccessful.
Well, if we remember, the last play was an interception. It feels like it was a while ago, but they had that INT in the end zone, and so they get it set up here at the 5 as they get their offense back on the field.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a flag. You take a break from playing football for a little bit, you
forget what the last thing was that you saw, but that play that resulted in Bowden going down was that INT from the Woo, and I think they ruled that he was down in the end zone, and so they put the ball back there at the 5-yard line as a touchback, and but they're going to pick up another 5 yards there after the offsides from the Greenheads defense.
So offsides now. Ball now at the 10-yard line. Woo down 4. 18-14 your score. 5:34 in the second quarter. 1st and 10. Vernon Sharp looking to maybe improve on his day. 2 picks, but still a lot of game left. They don't take off up the middle, take a hard hit, but he keeps going. He's got a 1st down. Down about the 17-yard line. Vernon Sharp. He looks sharp so far.
Yeah, and that's actually number 6. That's Ty Petaway, who's playing QB for the Woo, and so he picks up the 1st down there and keeps the ball moving. And this team, we're about 5 minutes from halftime here, and they're going to try to get another touchdown on the board.
And throw the middle, a little out of play. So 2nd and 10 now after the incomplete pass. Here's the 2nd and 10 pass. Got room. Oh! Nearly picked again. A great play by Monroe's defender, but there's a flag down in the backfield.
Neighborhood holding. I think that might be what we end up seeing here. As the referees confer with the coaching staff, see what we want to do as we get the ball. Yep, looks like a hold on the Woo, so that's going to get him backed up here as you see the Greenheads coach that's filling in there for Coach Bowden. That's going to turn this into about a 2nd and we're looking at about a 2nd and 20 set up from the 8-yard line there, from their own 8-yard line.
2nd and 20. After the penalty. Motioning back in the end zone. Going up vertically. Sharp. Looking for a man and escapes. The middle. And he's off for some more. And he picks up all of it. Gets all that penalty yardage. He said, forget about that. Let's get a 1st down.
Perfect play. Exactly what you want to do after you've just gotten backed up deep in your own territory. Just taking it off and getting the ball right back into enemy territory now, and now 22 yards away from the end zone.
First and 10. Receiver in motion. Sharp takes a snap. Looking to escape. A throw to an open receiver. Escapes 1 tackle, and he's fighting the 2nd tackle. Almost a 1st down territory, but just short. And there's some extracurricular going on there. Oh, there's some little love tag, you know.
Or the sportsmanship.
We're just
hard to tell sometimes.
Giving him a hug.
Giving
him a hug, you know. We're all friends here. That's, you know, maybe, you know, they might not think that, but, you know, we're going to take the positive route and say they're all friends. A little bit of, I don't think anything too serious. I think, you know, these players are playing hard out there, and you got to appreciate that. Hand out to the running back. He's going to get past the 1st tackle. And he's going to get past the 2nd tackle towards the end zone. Touchdown, Woo! What a play!
Trey Henderson, his 2nd touchdown of the game. He had the touchdown on the catch. He has a touchdown on the ground now. Just keeps fighting, and this is where you can take advantage of this game, where there's no true out of bounds unless you go over the sideline there. He gets pushed right to the edge, and he just kept fighting.
He still goes and gets the touchdown. Wow. What a play. Take another look at this.
As the helmet comes off of one of the Greenheads defenders, right to the end zone.
I mean, that is what you want to see from your running back.
And here's a 1-point conversion attempt for the Woo that they're going to attempt here from the 5-yard line.
Sharp in the backfield. And remember, they cannot run the ball. They have to pass it. Sharp backing up all the way near the 20, at the 15, the 10. He's going to pass to an open man. No, he drops it. Had a man right behind him to break it up. So an unsuccessful 1-point conversion. But the Woo do retake the lead, 20-18, your score. And as we hit the 2-minute warning, and we will step aside for a short break. When we come back, we'll have 2 more minutes in the second quarter. Then we'll get you to halftime. You're watching the Arena League. Two minutes left in the first half. What has been a great game so far. Again, the first Saturday of games in the Arena League season. The first of 4 hosted here in the Unidome. The throw-off back to the end zone, received, and he'll take it out. Missed the first tackle, down to about the 8-yard line is the return.
So now the Greenheads get one more chance to respond with 1:55 remaining here in the second quarter before we hit halftime. The Woo taking a 20-18 lead. Greenheads working with a new assistant coach on the sideline. Who that assistant coach is, who's to say? Some of the rosters, some of the coaching staffs are anybody's guess because we don't have a full roster sheet every now and then, and so we don't know who's really running some of these plays, running the play calling.
I've said it a couple times in this broadcast as McLean airs it out to a wide open receiver who makes the catch in one play. The Greenheads respond. Touchdown, Monroe. You just said it. They had 1:55 to work with.
Didn't need it.
They didn't need it.
6 seconds off the clock.
How about that?
That was what they needed. That was Mark Britt on that touchdown catch.
How about that? Take another look at this.
I believe. Looked like that was a number 6. Yeah.
Yep. Mark Britt III. One of the players we talked about earlier played at ULM. Under head coach Terry Bowden makes a great catch there. And how about that, McLean? I mean, he has
he can air it out so well, man. That's a second deep ball touchdown. They seem to want to go for it every single play.
Going for 2. McLean out of the pocket, looking to throw out of bounds. So throw it over the wall. So incomplete. But in the span of 6 seconds, the Greenheads have taken the lead 24-20 over the Woo. We said it earlier, if you're new to this game, expect a lot of scoring. We saw games last year, 60, 70 points for one team. This is going to be a fun game, and we're seeing a lot of that early here.
Yeah, and one thing that you got to say about the Greenheads, even though they have a 4-point lead, is they haven't been able to capitalize on these touchdowns in terms of extending that lead, because they are 0 for 4 on conversion attempts so far. So they could have an extra 8 points on the board, have this be a 2-possession game at this point if they were just able to convert their conversion attempts, but nothing successful so far, and so it remains a 4-point game, and the Woo still able to get back into it.
I mean, we talked about for the Greenheads, they had a lot of time. The Woo still have a lot of time.
Sure.
In a game like this, I mean, there's going to be a throw-off, and then they're going to have a chance to respond.
Yeah, the game moves fast. As we've mentioned a couple times through this broadcast, there's no huddling allowed during the broadcast. Excuse me, during gameplay, unless there's been a timeout called or it's between possessions. So the game moves quick. The offense is out there, and they're moving the ball in a hurry.
So 24-20. Second quarter, 1 minute and 49 seconds.
And it looks like the Greenheads are going to have a different player doing the throw-off at this point. We've seen a couple of their throw-offs come up short of the necessary 10-yard line. Looks like this is James Herrard out there who's going to do the throw-off again.
He had to get back into the end zone.
But the foot was beyond, so that's going to be a penalty as well.
Throw down to the 1, and they're going to let this play out, but you were right. There is going to be a penalty. And the ball got fumbled. The Woo. Hold on now. The Woo.
Well, it's all going to be a moot point because his foot, when he did the throw-off, went beyond the goal line, which you can't do, and so the ball is going to be at the 25-yard line anyway. So, as we have during this broadcast, you know, both Jason and myself are trying to figure out some of the rules of this game, and we're adjusting to some of the nuances of the Arena League and how this game rolls, how this game is played, and I think we can tell that the players are doing the same thing, honestly. I mean, James Herrard, that's a throw he could make certainly comfortably, it looked like, but maybe just didn't know that his foot had to be behind the goal line. And so that's going to be a ball that gets placed at the 25-yard line. Another short field for the Woo with just about a minute and a half left in the second quarter.
You know, and I'll say my first football game ever, and I just said that for some reason I thought there was a fumble at that play. I don't know what happened. It's our first game, you know, first game for everybody. I'll say it again. As these players probably are looking for a break, I think we are too.
Yeah,
up in the booth.
It's a small field that is played in a big stadium, and so we've got a lot of real estate between ourselves and the action down in the field.
Most certainly. Well, let's get it set. 1:39 on the clock. Sharp takes the snap, looking for a man, gets out of the pocket. He'll throw, out of play. Let's just throw it away there.
Another souvenir going for the kids. The pink jerseys down behind the end zone, chasing that one down as every ball that goes out of play remains out of play, going home with a fan.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass by Sharp. Sharp looking to get a little bit sharper here in this one. 2 interceptions for him, but really one of those interceptions, I mean, came off the receiver's hands. You can't be too upset if you're Sharp. In this run, and there's a flag down, but he'll get down to about the 6-yard line, 6 or 7-yard line, but will likely be taken back. And we'll get the word from the official.
It's another hold, second of the game, I believe, for the Woo, bringing him back. So the clock continues to run. They do have a chance to take the lead again. Of course, in this game, if you're looking at the field, you can tell no field goal posts or anything, so no chance to set up a 3-point kick or anything before halftime. It's a touchdown or bust if you're wanting to play the game at this level. So they're getting pushed back to midfield, and still a minute and 24 seconds to get back on the board if they want to take the lead before halftime.
So 2nd and 20 now after the hold by the Woo. Sharp takes a snap. Under heavy pressure, immediately gets out of it. And he's up the middle. And he gets all of the penalty yardage back and some more. He gets down to about the 10-yard line. And Vernon Sharp putting the wheels on there.
Exactly what you want to see out of your quarterback. He needs to be a playmaker in a game like this. That's on a smaller field, that does value the speed and agility of the quarterback, even more so, I think, than the NFL does, or the traditional rules of the game of football. And so Sharp is the perfect guy that you want to have there in the backfield, playing QB when he can have escapability like that.
So 3rd and 5 now after the 2nd and 20. So got a lot of that penalty yardage back and got some more as well. There's a timeout Iowa's going to take a timeout, stop the clock with 39 seconds on. Again, they can't go for a field goal here. They got to go for a touchdown, but they have 2 more downs to do it, and if they can convert that first down, they're in good position.
Being set up at the 10-yard line, this is where some strategy needs to come into play, because again, to go over some of the rules of this game, once you get to the 5-yard line, you cannot run the ball anymore. You can only pass it once you're to the 5-yard line. And so this is the point where you still have both options in front of you, but if you do want to run the ball, you got to make sure you do it in the next 5 yards. Options are still open, but on a short field like this with the barrier behind the end zone, there are a lot of options out there for what you might want to do.
Head coach for the Woo, Victor Mann, getting his men in order. He played at Kansas State. He's won 2 indoor football championships and 2 league coaches of the year award. So 3rd and 5, 39 seconds on the clock. The Woo still have a timeout to use if they choose. Sharp getting his offense in order. Man in motion. Snap. Sharp under immediate pressure, escapes. The quick dump off pass. Won't get the first down, but it'll get awfully close. About a yard and a half shy maybe of that first down marker. Another timeout called by the Woo with 24 on the clock.
There are times where in these moments I'm brought back to a lot of my days as a sports broadcaster, where you sometimes have to really do a lot of homework or try to do some research to figure out the rosters of some of these teams. And boy, we are in that kind of mess again today, because there are numbers that are different from the listed roster on the website. There's numbers that are not on the roster at all. That pass caught by a number 15. I don't know who number 15 is. They're not on the roster. You can see a lot of different numbers out there from maybe what they played in either last year or from what they were going to be listed as a couple weeks ago. So who some of these players are, your guess is as good as ours, but we're just going to be watching number 15 for now, as the Woo now have the 4th down set up as they on about the 6-yard line. Last chance that they're going to have to either, of course, from this point in the field, you're not going to surrender the ball. You're going to want to go for it, and that's what they're going to do here. But if they don't get it converted or get into the end zone, it's going to be turnover on downs again.
Vernon Sharp takes a snap, and he's looking for an outlet, and he trips down past the 5-yard line.
Looks like he got the first down. Vernon Sharp was close there. Looked like he wanted to pass the ball.
And they're going to have to go for it here. 9, 8, 7. They're going to get 1 play off. 5. Gets the snap. Time will expire on this play. The last play of the half. Dropped. Incomplete. And the Woo can't capitalize on the red zone opportunity to end the first half.
Too bad for Vernon Sharp, because on that 4th down play, it looked like he had a wide open lane to the end zone. I don't know if he wasn't aware of where he was on the field, because it looked like he could have run the ball. He might have thought that he was still within the territory where he had to pass it, because he pulled up a little bit short of the line of scrimmage. Just wanted to get rid of the ball. It looked like he kept it. He could have gone just straight to the end zone. But as it stands, we go to halftime with the Woo in a 4-point hole.
Well, we go into the half. 24-20. Monroe Greenheads up 4 in their first game in the Arena League. We will see you in just a few minutes. You're watching the Arena League. What a shot there. Some food sounds great up here in the booth right now, as the Woo fans are trying to get rehydrated and refueled for the second half. Look at our score, 24-20. Greenheads up 4 over the Iowa Woo.
Yeah, something that I do love about this game with the Arena League, the way that they operate, is the fans are the priority. It seems like above all else, they really want to make this a fan-friendly game, and we see it with the fans in the arena today. One thing we've mentioned a few times is, of course, when the football goes out of the play, it doesn't have to go back to the field. Coaches and refs don't need to ask for it back. The fans, whoever gets a hold of that football, gets to take it home, just like if you're at a Major League Baseball game. So you're going to be running through a lot of footballs. One thing I really did like was after the first year of the Arena League, they had an option for about 8 new cities that could have gotten a team. And it kind of got put to the fans where the cities that got the most votes were going to be the ones that got the new teams. And so it's a good strategy on the part of the Arena League, because, you know, okay, if there are all these fans already going out there and voting to bring a team to their city, then, you know, we're already building a following, and these are the cities that are going to have people that want to watch some arena football.
And take a look at this, folks. Worldwide acclaim. Red Panda in the house. How about this?
Definitely in my top 10 of unicyclists who kick bulls onto their heads. Easy top 10.
I'd even go as far as say top 5.
Sure.
Maybe. Put her in there.
Red Panda, what a legend. She's somebody I've had a chance to see a few times in person because, I mean, this is a big deal getting Red Panda into the building for the Arena League. They're holding nothing back here because she's played in some huge arenas. I've seen her at the Big Ten Championships. She performs in front of NBA arenas and the biggest college games. It's a big deal getting her in the building.
Surprised she's not in Oklahoma City right now. Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
That's Panda territory.
They didn't call the big guns in, frankly.
Yeah.
Man, what a showcase.
She's looking for her assistant who's out of place right now. This guy in the white hat and white shirt, he's got to get his head in the game because Red Panda.
This guy's selling right now.
She needs only the best assistants.
All right, we will take a short break while Red Panda does her thing. 24-20, Greenheads up 4 over the Iowa Woo. We'll be right back. Man, we are mesmerized by Red Panda. There she goes. Look at that. Beautiful. Collects the pass. Touchdown, Red Panda. 24-20 your score. Greenheads up over the Iowa Woo. Let's take a look at some highlights from the first half, and there are plenty of them.
That is what we get used to with the Arena League. Is it's a lot of scoring, and that's what the game is built for. As we were mentioning before the break, the game is meant for the fans, and so with a 24-20 score at halftime, a lot more scoring than you're going to see in college or the NFL on most occasions. They can get up to 50, 60, 70 points on the games, almost like you're watching 8-man football at the high school level. Yeah, these guys know how to score, and they've been doing a lot of that today, especially with some of the playmakers in this game. And it goes back to some of the players of the game that we mentioned beforehand with Vernon Sharp and Timmy McClain as well.
And a lot of offense. You talked about McClain. Here's Vernon Sharp. Looked sharp early. Unfortunately, kind of dulled out a little bit, to use that expression a little bit more. Threw 2 interceptions, but looking to come out of the half and get things back on the right track, as you see his escapability shown off there.
That was Leslie Owusu on that first touchdown, the kid we've talked about a few times, who comes out of Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Good defense there by the Greenheads. And McClain, I mean, we talked about it earlier. His arm just does everything. Went down with an injury, came back, kept doing his thing, kept slinging the rock all over the field.
Timmy McClain certainly has been the best player on the field today, I'd say by far. Timmy McClain has been so good. Right as I say that, we watch a replay of an overthrow, so the timing didn't work out there well for me. But here's McClain doing what he does well, getting the ball in a precise spot to score a touchdown.
Not many people can do stuff like that, as we watch this pass just right over the head of the receiver there. Couldn't corral it in over the wall. We take a look at this. Good defense by the Woo. I mean, their defense has been suffocating. Iowa has been in the first half. McClain, a little pass, incomplete. The Woo pressured, getting there early.
And McClain just got a cannon there. Here's where we see it at work with Quad Smith getting behind the defense and scoring the touchdown. The kid who we talked about, who has such special speed, played at Akron University. Some NFL teams possibly looking at him. But McClain, he's got such a rocket. He went down there for the 1 sack that we saw in the first half. Apollo Johnson, number 44, applying a lot of that pressure.
Another great pass there, but it was intercepted by the Woo.
That was a play. That was a play that ended up injuring Terry Bowden right at the end here. He took a big shot on the interception return.
A little bit of chippiness.
Saw a skirmish there on the sideline too.
A little bit of talking. You know, never hurt anybody. You know. First game of the season, both teams looking good so far, but the Woo looking to get things back on the right track. Another look at that great touchdown pass as we head into the second half coming up soon. 24-20 your score. Greenheads up 4 over the Iowa Woo. You're watching the Arena League. quarter in the second half of the first game of the 2026 Arena League season. And we highlighted it in the early game. In the open of this game, we talked about the impact players, both quarterbacks. And one quarterback has really, really looked great. Timmy McClain has come out strong. He's got, we talked about it all game, how much his arm really, it makes his game versatile because he's a great runner, but he's a great passer. His pocket presence is awesome. I mean, we've seen it several times, escaping the pocket, getting that throw, that great throw in the first quarter where he escaped near the 25-yard line, threw it in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, and he's a guy who is naturally going to stand out with his ability. Yeah, he moved around a lot in college, finished at Bethune-Cookman, but played at Arkansas State, played at Central Florida. He's a guy who's been around, and just having a Division I football player on your roster, a guy who's played at some of the highest levels of the game, is something that not every team has. We see some of the guys on these rosters who didn't play any college football at all. And so having a guy like him who is so experienced playing against some of the most elite players in the game, you know that Timmy McClain is going to bring a lot to the table as quarterback.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, when you think about the guys in this league, as you see,
there's Terry Bowden coming
back. Terry Bowden,
out.
Good to see him on his feet once again. Took a hit in that second quarter. But one of the things that's so important to understand is the fact that D1 player, it's so hard to go D1 in football. There are thousands and thousands of players in in high school that aspire to go D1, but only a couple thousand of them even get a chance to go D1. So, even like you mentioned, even having a D1 quarterback on your roster is such a good get, and he's so versatile. And the world of college sports as we see now, everybody moves. You can kind of see that as a good thing or a bad thing, right? Bad thing necessarily because you're not loyal to your team, quote unquote, but McClain was looking for his chance to play, and he got that in droves.
And that's why we've seen so many plays between him and Quad Smith, especially the guys who were Division I guys there who played for the Greenheads. They're the ones who are going to be the natural playmakers for this team.
I mean, especially Quad Smith, running track, and we saw his speed in the first half. The throw-off by Iowa makes it past the 10, and that'll bounce right to the receiver in the end zone, who will take it out, evades the first tackle, gets tripped up about the 6-yard line, and that is where the Greenheads will take over.
Jatarius Turpin bringing things back out to get the second half started. So Greenhead's going to start things at the 6-yard line. Big moment in this game because with the amount of scoring that happens in arena football, it can be hard to overcome a 2-possession deficit. And so this is a time where the Woo really want to make sure that they hold this team without a touchdown on this drive so they can get the ball back and stay in this game.
Absolutely. So the Greenheads up 4. McClain takes a snap. Back in the end zone. Looking for an outlet. He gets eaten up. And that's a safety on the first play of the second half.
There comes Apollo Johnson again. He has been in Timmy McClain's face this entire game, gets him to the back wall, and just buries him for the safety. Exactly the play that you wanted if you're the Iowa Woo. Not just holding that team without a touchdown like I just said, but you're getting 2 points on the board, and now you get a chance to get the ball back. Just a perfect way to start the second half for the Iowa Woo.
Man, Johnson he just gets off the snap so quickly. He's so physical. And when you're playing defense, especially in a league like this that doesn't see a lot of defense being played, like to be one of those really, really great defenders, and a great pickup from the Cedar Rapids Titans. Played there last year, had 4 sacks. He's had 2 already in this game.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. When you have a guy who stands out on defense like he's done this game, that can be such a game changer. Like we talked about with McClain on offense, when you have an athlete like him who's played at the Division I level, he can make a lot of good plays for your offense. But if you also have a defensive player that stands out like Johnson does, boy, that can do a lot to shift the game in your favor.
We talked about...
And I think we've got the third different, we've got James Herrard here. He's at least a second different Greenheads player doing the throw-off here.
It's a different rule than you're used to seeing. So, and where's the ball?
I think he's got it.
He's got it. Hard to see. It's white on white. The white ball and the white uniform. It was kind of standing around like he didn't have the ball. Taken out of the end zone. Great defense by the Greenheads to take down. Past the 4-yard line now.
You can do you can kneel the ball when you get it on the return like that. You can't do a touchback, but players don't seem to want it. They seem to want to make a play, and try to get their name out there, but it hasn't worked for either team, honestly, so far. Seems like the wiser play might be to kneel the ball if you catch a throw off in the end zone, but they're learning that the hard way at this point, so the ball's going to start at the 4-yard line there. Gerard, somebody really needs to tell this guy that he needs to keep his foot behind the white line, because it was just millimeters from crossing the line again, which would again put them at the 25-yard line. So again, as we talk about these coaches, not just these players, not just learning the coach's style or playbooks, they've got to learn a whole new rule book when they come and play Arena League football.
I mean, in their defense, I will say this: we spent about 30 minutes looking at this rule book before the game started today, and as this ball is taken up the middle by Sharp, he'll get a little bit further. The initial tackle at the 10, but down to about the 12-yard line. So a nice first down run by Vernon Sharp. I mean, we spent about 30 minutes looking at this rule book. I don't even think we read all of it.
Yeah.
There are still things we're missing. Like this, it is hard to, I mean, like you said, like understanding a whole playbook, and I think that's the nice thing too about having some players from ULM, where Terry Bowden, coached, is they kind of know his style. I mean, it's obviously a different game, but same kind of concepts. Low snap, under pressure. O-line doing a good job. Deep pass to the end zone. Ooh, out of his hands at the wall. Took a tough collision in the wall and dropped the ball. Couldn't catch it. As you see the carnage going on, and there's a player down for the Greenheads. And he is...
Looks like that might be number 24, to carry on Jackson down towards the back of the end zone. Owusu was the one who really took a big shot there to the midsection at the wall, but now it's Jackson who's down on the field after that play.
I mean, a great throw.
Yeah, Owusu.
Attempted great catch.
Jackson looked like he just got a little bit twisted up when he ran into the wall there as well. Went face first into it and just maybe got bent a little bit awkwardly.
Now, what I will say is the fan over there in that black jacket definitely had a hand in that incompletion. Was involved in that a little bit.
It's not quite Savannah Bananas style of play here, but the fans can impact the game.
Yeah, certainly a close call there. Love to take another look at that if we could, but the players, Greenheads player now, DeCarrion Jackson down, getting looked at. Took a tough hit.
He's a third member of the Greenheads team that's had to get looked at. Tim McLean got banged up early, had to get looked at. Terry Bowden, of course. Now Jackson goes down.
Take another look at this play.
Oh, yeah, the woman there with the short blonde hair. Yep, getting her hands on it.
A little bit of FI, fan interference.
Yeah. And the suds go down. That table went over and lost some drinks on the play.
And the Miller Lite experience. Don't want to Miller Lite going all over the place. But that was an interesting look at it. Certainly something to keep your eye on.
And there's the real carnage on the ground with the beverages going down.
So 3rd and 2. Sharp in the backfield. Receiver in motion. Takes the snap. Looking downfield. Hesitates. Pulls down the middle. Completed at the 25-yard line. He'll get tackled at the 24 on the Greenhead side of the field. And a great completion on 3rd down. 1st and 10 coming up. That's
Kyvon Smith, who's made several big plays today. Smith comes up with another big catch. He scored a couple of touchdowns already, and he's been a big part of this Woo roster so far today.
A great completion. Vernon Sharp takes a snap. 1st and 10. Under pressure. The O-line doing a good job holding up. He's going to take off the 20. It's tackled about the 19-yard line. First down run.
One thing, Jason, we haven't really mentioned yet is the rule about the running lanes in the Arena League. That's something that we need fans to be aware of too, is because this is why you haven't seen Sharp maybe move to the sideline when he's running the ball. You have to stay between the hashes when you're moving the ball. So that's why the field gets a little bit more narrow when he's trying to go down the field.
So he has to stay in between the hashes until he gets to the line of scrimmage. Then he can take off in any direction he pleases. And he's going to get taken down. He's going to get the ball away just before it goes down.
Just well.
And there's going to be a flag here. I believe
that looked like it might have hit the line of scrimmage, but the ref might be saying otherwise. So
and
threw it out of bounds, might be intentional grounding, what we're looking at.
I believe that's what they're discussing right now. So 2nd and 3. We'll get the call here. So it is intentional grounding, loss of down, now third down for the Woo. And they'll lose some yardage on that play as well. So the ball will go about to the 23.5-yard line if you're being specific. Maybe more at the 23-yard line of the Greenheads. So third and about 8 after the intentional grounding penalty. Sharp directing the troops. Just a few minutes into the
Yep, they want to make sure
second
that
half.
ball is centered right in between the hashes. That's another important rule that they want to keep as well.
24-22, Greenheads up 2. Second and 8, and there's a penalty going the other way now. Offsides, most likely. And good for the Greenheads player owning up to it.
Yep.
Got a little too excited there.
Yep, Jalen King jumping off sides. One of the beautiful parts about this game is that when you're an offensive team and you get to this point where you're about inside the 20-yard line, even though it's third down, you feel like automatically you've got 2 downs to play with, because when it gets to fourth down, you have the choice either to surrender the ball or go for it. And if you surrender, it just goes to the other team's 15-yard line. That's where they can start. So if you're inside the 20, may as well go ahead and go for it with those 3 extra yards.
Snap to Sharp, handoff to the running back. And that's going to be a first down, a little bit more, down to about the 10-yard line before he's tackled at the wall.
There's Trey Henderson, who's been another big playmaker for this team today. He scored a couple of touchdowns, one through the air, one on the ground. Trey Henderson, one of the names that Sharp seems to keep looking for.
Those poor tables.
Yeah,
For the fans on the side, they're taking a hard hit.
Yeah.
The wall came off.
Oh,
and
some popcorn went down that time.
Some popcorn. Their play. Sharp to the end zone. Had a man right in front of him, incomplete. Nearly intercepted. So second down now after the incompletion in the end zone.
Sharp's got a couple of touchdown passes already today, trying to go for number 3. I believe it was Trey Henderson who had the 1 rushing touchdown so far from the 11-yard line. Got a lot of options you can play with here as we go forward.
So second and 10 after the incompletion. Ball at the 11-yard line of Monroe. Receiver in motion. Sharp under pressure immediately. Trying to get it away. The ball comes out. Who's got it? It's going to stay here. Third down. Recovered by the Woo.
Great play there by number 15, one of our friends on the Woo roster who is not on the lineup card. So we have no name for number 15, but nevertheless, we will persevere. 15 making a good play there to keep the ball in the Woo's hands, although they are now back at the 20-yard line with a 4th down. So here is a point where they have the option where they can either go for it, try to convert the 4th down, which will be all the way down to the 1-yard line, or they can surrender the ball to the Greenheads, which would then put the ball, oh, excuse me, now they've changed it back to a 3rd down. There's a 4th on the placard earlier, but so now we do have 2 downs to play with if you're the Iowa Woo.
So 3rd and 19 after the fumble recovery by the Woo. Sharp takes a snap. Looking to air it out to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown Woo! Threading the needle. Vernon Sharp. What a play. Steps up. Wow.
That's Trey Henderson once again, a kid who has been making plays nonstop for this Iowa Woo offense. His 3rd touchdown of the game, 2nd touchdown catch. That guy is proving to be a reliable target for Vernon Sharp as they have their 1st game of the season today. Looks like that's going to be a tandem that is going to prove fruitful for the Iowa Woo fans this year.
They're going for 2 here. 2-point attempt would put them up 6 over the Greenheads. Receiver in motion. Sharp looking at his options. O-line holding up. Pass back of the end zone. Incomplete. Good defense from the Greenheads to knock things out.
A good play there by Dontarian Ferguson, number 18. Looked like he was the one who got his hand on it. Good play there by Sharp to at least keep that play alive, keep dancing around in the backfield looking for his man. But As it stands now, it remains a 4-point game, 1-possession game, so it is anybody's ball game at this point. This is what we love to see out of the opening game of the season, where we do have maybe a lot of fans watching for the first time. You want to see a game that remains close, and this is how you keep a game close, because as I mentioned at the start of the half, if a game gets if a team gets up by a couple of possessions, it starts to maybe snowball, and it's hard to come back from a 2-possession deficit. So keeping this game within 1 possession for each team, this is what's going to keep it close from start to finish.
We got a Wu down on the field in the end zone. Grabbing him the back of his leg. Ugh.
Just
not what you want to see there. Of course, a really bad spot. If you know anything about sports and anatomy, and I don't claim to be an expert here, but that's a rough spot to be grabbing after a play. So hopefully he's all right.
Looks like this might be Banks Williams down on the ground, I think.
So they will attend to him and make sure he's good to go. And
very ginger getting up.
Yeah, he's not putting any pressure on that left leg.
No pressure on the left leg. Training staff, oh boy, they've had their work cut out for them today. They've had 3 pretty lengthy injury breaks for the Greenheads. Now 1 for the Wu. Thankful to have this University of Northern Iowa training staff on site today to help get these players taken care of.
Absolutely. A great building to be in for athletes. There's a physical therapy office connected to the Unidome. Of course, if you've ever been to the University of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls, literally all the sports complexes are connected together. So you have the Unidome here, you have the McLeod Center, the basketball, volleyball arena just to its left, all connected. So a great place to be, and they'll make sure he's taken care of. So 28-24, Wu have retaken the lead up by 4 over the Monroe Greenheads. A throw off here for the Wu. A good throw received by Monroe. Dancing at the 10, at the 15, down at the 16-yard line. That's where it will be spotted. And the Greenheads will set up their offense.
You know, sometimes it is the little things that will make a difference in a game, and just something like Vernon Sharp being able to seemingly handle those throw-offs cleanly is something important so far, because we've seen a couple of them not be successful for the Greenheads. They've had one where they stepped over the line, one that didn't, I think 2 that didn't make the 10-yard line. And so just being able to have successful throw-off attempts can make a difference in a game.
Playing going for a good pass down to near the 15, and he'll get down about the 16-yard line. A great pass by Timmy McLean to get things started.
It's Mark Britt, who's been a reliable target for McLean today as they get the ball moving.
McLean looking to pass again. Wide open man. One man to make miss. Another man comes in. A hard hit down about the 4-yard line. That'll be a first down. So back-to-back first downs for the Greenheads. They have gone the distance of the field essentially. And now they're in the red zone at the 4-yard line. So just passes from here. They can't run this thing. McLean in the pocket, avoiding the pressure. Pressure's getting to him. He's going to run into the end zone, which is not allowed. So that'll be a penalty. You know, it's against conventional wisdom, obviously, because, you know, you're playing college ball for so long, and, oh, I can just run this into the end zone. It's open, right? Well, no, you can't, because it's in the 5-yard line.
Yep. Just to go over that rule again, I may sound like I'm a broken record just repeating myself, but for any fans who are tuning in for the first time, again, we just like to restate these things because it is such a difference from the normal game of football that if a team is within the 5-yard line, at or within the 5-yard line, you cannot run the ball. You have to pass from that point. So that play was started at the 4-yard line, so McLean cannot run it forward.
McLean gets it out. A great one-handed catch by the receiver. Gets a couple yards on that play, and maybe 1 or 2 yards for second down.
It's Turpin, who we've seen make some plays on special teams as well. Again, things move quickly. As I mentioned, no huddles in this game unless it's after a timeout or after a change of possessions. Also just a 20-second play clock. That's what we have in Canadian football as well, but just a lot shorter length between plays.
McLean got a man. Touchdown, Greenheads. Wide open, a little too open. Woo defense breaks down and awards Greenhead the free touchdown.
C.J. Brown on the receiving end of that one. That's his third touchdown, I think, of the game. C.J. Brown, another heavy target. Timmy McLean, a wealth of options there out of his wide receiver unit. He's thrown touchdowns to 3 different players right now, I think. C.J. Brown, one of the kids who's been great. Quad Smith has been so good. Turpin, Ferguson, Jackson, a lot of these guys can make plays for this Greenheads unit.
And they're going to go for 2 here. McLean at the 20. Throws to the end zone. Caught short of the end zone and ran in for the 2-point conversion.
There's James Herrard, another weapon out of that offense. The guy who's been making the throw-offs out of the end zone. Herrard now catching it and getting in. That's the first successful conversion attempt today by the Monroe Greenheads. That's going to put them back in the lead. They're going to take a 4-point lead now on the Woo.
So we're going back and forth here in the second half already. 4:57 left in the third quarter. 32-28 your score. Monroe up 4 over the Woo. A couple of really great plays back-to-back for the Greenheads. Marched down the field. Got backed up on a penalty, but nonetheless they scored regardless. So they take a lead here in the mid parts of the third quarter.
One thing, if you're watching at home too, you see on those teams is it is just a lot of athletes out there. We don't see the big guys like you might on a defensive or offensive line, and that's because offensive line just doesn't play much of a factor in this one. We only have 7 guys out on the field. There's only 1 true offensive lineman that is not allowed to catch passes, so they basically have a center and then a bunch of wide receivers and running backs, and so that's why you might see 1 or 2 bigger fellas on the team to be the guys who snap the ball, but since everybody else is eligible as a receiver, that's why you're going to have a lot of athletes, guys who can either run the ball or catch the ball or play defense with some guys who are going to be playing both sides.
I will say this, if I can make any suggestions to the American League, make those centers eligible to catch a pass. This throw off down to the 5, snuffed by the great special teams play of the Greenheads. But get those big guys involved on some passes.
Sure.
That's what we like to see. I think a lot of the viewers here could agree.
Yeah.
Want to see those big guys get some love.
Yeah. C.J. Buckhalter, he's the one that's he's out there, one of the centers. A dad who played on the Eagles practice squad.
There you go.
Played for a few different colleges, but he's one of their talented linemen on both sides of the ball. You see him lining up there as kind of the nose tackle type. So yeah, the offense and defensive line not as much of a factor in this game, and so speed, agility, having good hands, playmaking skills, so much more of a factor when you're playing under the Arena League.
4:39 in the third quarter, 32-28. Monroe up over the Iowa Woo, and again, this is the Greenheads' first time really playing together in a game like this, their first season as a team, so they're building some chemistry early. Low snap for Sharp, in the end zone, avoids the pressure, gets it out to a wide open man, down to the 20. Before he's tackled. First down and some more for the Woo.
Yeah, more good playmaking out of Sharp in this offense. Looks like number 18 there. Listed on the roster as Rathel Carter Jr. Don't think that's correct, but nevertheless, number 18 with a nice catch for the Woo and getting the ball moving down the field as his team works out of another deficit.
So 1st and 10. Sharp takes the snap. Under immediate pressure, gets the ball out, caught, wide open receiver. Makes the first tackle miss down to about the 15-yard line, and they will spot it right at the 15-yard line. Another first down, back-to-back. Some great offense we're seeing here from both teams, really.
And you got to think that in a game like this, that the scoring and the plays are going to pick up in the second half because the defenses are getting more and more worn out as the game goes along. So offense has a lot more chances like this to make plays.
Receiver in motion. Sharp receives the snap. Got some time. Pass. Dropped. Just flat out dropped it.
Yep, right where he wanted it, right in the numbers. Just couldn't get his hands under it. That would have been perfect position for the Woo to get set up inside the 10-yard line as it stands. Still back at the 15. In a 4-point hole, trying to get back into the end zone.
Kyvon Smith with the drop there, but got to have a short-term memory in this game. You go so quick. So 2nd and 10 now. Receiver in motion. Down the field. Sharp's got time. Looking for a man. Pass. Airmailed over the Woo receiver's hands onto the UNI track, and a bunch of fans the little kids will go run and grab it, and they'll get to keep that as a souvenir.
One of the great indoor tracks here in the Midwest. If you get a chance to take a look at it, they have a couple of high school meets here in the wintertime, and a lot of indoor MVC championships will be held here in Cedar Falls. Just a nice part of this facility, a nice option to have this when you need it in the wintertime.
3rd and 10 now. Back-to-back incompletions for the Woo. Sharp. Quick out pass down to about the 10-yard line. That won't be enough for a first down, but it gets them a little bit closer. I'll spot that at the 11-yard line. So 4th down now for the Woo, and obviously they're more than likely going to go for this here.
Yep, no reason to surrender it, of course, because that would move the ball backwards and put it at the 15-yard line. So may as well go for it and try to, even if you don't pick up the conversion here, hopefully move the ball a little bit forward and try to put the Greenheads in negative territory, or trying to set them back down the field as far as you can.
So 4th and 6. A big moment here for the Woo. They've done a good job driving the ball down the field. Sharp sends a man in motion. Takes a snap. Receiver falls down. Wide open man. Caught. Touchdown, Woo. Spikes the ball. A great play.
Man, another perfectly executed play by the Woo. The receiver who was in motion, you saw him face plant right after the play started. But the ball keeps going, and there's another touchdown on the board for the Woo, who retake the lead by 2 right now. And of course, we're going to go for another 2-point conversion at the 10-yard line, an opportunity for the Woo to either run or pass the ball, whatever they choose.
Here's the pass. And that's airmailed out. Unsuccessful conversion for the Woo. 34-32. Woo take the lead by 2. Still a lot of time left in this one. 45 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Sharp pointing to himself on that one, knew that was on him. He just kind of wanted to sling the ball right away rather than actually waiting for Elisha Owusu to get open. So remains a 2-point game and a lot of time left. We still have the 4th quarter left and 45 seconds of the 3rd. We've seen the Greenheads move the ball quickly. They could get the ball down the field in 45 seconds. They could take the lead before this 3rd quarter is over if they choose to. Their quarterback, Timmy McClain, likes to air the ball out. He's got so many weapons that he can throw the ball to downfield. They can move the ball in a hurry.
And if there was an award for the comfiest 2 people in this entire building.
It's me and you?
No. There are 2 people down by the field in recliners.
Got the recliners, yep.
I don't know how you get that, what promotion they're running for that, but I might have to enter that, call a game from down there, get a little more close to the action. They just showed it on the big screen here in the Unidome, and I couldn't help but notice. So 34-32, Woo up to a throw-off. Here again, if you're just joining us, this league does not like to put ball to foot. We just throw it here in this league. A throw, that'll get past the 10-yard line where it needed to go. It'll take a bounce received by the Greenheads. They'll take it out, and that didn't go anywhere. Would have been smarter to just kneel it down then.
I don't know why these guys aren't kneeling the football. You can kneel it and take a touchback, and now we're going to see a flag thrown as well. But that's dangerous because there is a safety option there. If he makes an attempt to come out of the end zone and the Woo get down there and tackle him in the end zone, that's a safety. So I don't know why we don't see these guys take more knees once they've received the ball. Nevertheless, a face mask on the Woo, so field position isn't going to be a factor necessarily. It's going to give 15 yards to the Greenheads.
I will say this about this game. We've kind of seen it. The Woo get some momentum going, right? And they get things going, and then it seems like they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, right? With the interceptions, or there's now penalty. That would have been great field position for the Woo. They could have gotten another safety. That's already happened. They've already got one of those in this game.
That's right.
But they kind of shot themselves in the foot there, and now the ball will be put at about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, Timmy McClain can cover a lot of ground in a hurry. You don't want to give him 15 extra yards to work with right off the bat.
30 seconds on the clock. The clock will roll. Couple plays here to end the third quarter. McLean under pressure. Wu on his way. Scrambling, scrambling, scrambling. Throws it away to an open man. He's got it. He keeps running at the 20. Escapes. Oh, he's getting tackled down at the 15. Some helmets flew. Hard-nosed football, and what a play by McLean to get that ball out.
Yeah, that guy does it again. Timmy McLean, what a playmaker that guy is. My goodness. Apollo Johnson chasing him all over the backfield. Gets the ball. He just has to wait it out, wait for one of his guys to get open downfield, and he can make a play as the clock runs out now in the third quarter.
So we head to the end of the third quarter. 34-32. Wu up 2, but the Greenheads are threatening. We'll get to you at the start of the fourth quarter after this break. You're watching the Arena League. Well, we were heading to break here, and some action happened while we were in break between both the teams, and they've been chippy all afternoon and kind of boiled over a little bit here. Take a look at what happened.
That looks like that was Marcel Brooks, who hasn't played today, wearing the cowboy hat. He walked right into that huddle of the Greenheads and started getting in the face of some people. Doesn't look like not much contact actually happened there, so nothing to penalize, it appears, but the coaching staff for the Greenheads got in there right away. You see Terry Bowden even getting in there and pushing his guys backwards. Yep, that was him, Marcel Brooks, number 1.
This game's been chippy. We like to see it, obviously. It's, glad we didn't have any physical altercations, but nothing wrong with little John.
I suppose
in the fourth quarter of a close one.
Wu would certainly prefer to have a guy like Marcel Brooks out on the field. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, played at LSU first and then transferred over to TCU. Played both wide receiver and linebacker in college, depending on the year that you look at. Mostly linebacker, but spent 1 year as his junior year. He was a wide receiver. So he could be a star player for this Wu team, but out, I presume, with an injury. I'm just going to make the presumption right now, but the Wu would love to have this guy back in the lineup.
So to reset the scene here, fourth quarter, 15 minutes left in what has been a good game to start the season. 34-32, Wu up 2, but McLean and the Greenheads threatening. 1st and 10. McLean takes the snap. He's got some time. Dumps it out. Oh, and a good play defensively by the Wu to limit the gain, but still about a 3 or 4 yard gain on 1st down.
Yeah, Frederick Lloyd on the catch there. He's one of the better athletes on this. I mean, I've said that about half of the roster for the Greenheads, but he was a 3-sport athlete in high school, won state in football and basketball. Great athlete for them is Lloyd.
And a penalty flag down. Presumably, that's an offsides on the defense. So go against the Woo. They'll shred 5 yards from the first down distance. So instead of a 2nd and 8, we got a 2nd and 3 now.
So I'm not going to try to do too much math here, but we have a 50-yard field, and so far that's 20 yards that the Woo have given up to the Greenheads on penalties on this drive alone. Not helping their case here.
Certainly. Kind of going back to what we said earlier in that play. Dumped off to the receiver. Down and take a hard hit. About the 4-yard line, but got the first down nonetheless. So the Greenheads building a little bit of momentum. Now they're firmly in the red zone. At the 4-yard line.
So as a reminder, this is a point where teams cannot run the ball anymore. From here on out, McLean has to pass the ball.
He'll take the snap. Not got a lot of time, and they'll just throw it away. Throw it to the ground right in front of a receiver, so no intentional grounding there, but got past the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 3. So again, yeah, McLean can't run this thing in. Tried it earlier. Got a penalty because of it. They scored a touchdown on that drive nonetheless, but McLean's got to get through the air, and he's been great through the air. Some really, really great passes, some pro-level passes from McLean. We'll hand it off.
Great play.
And stuffed by the Woo. Absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, great play again there by the defensive line of the Woo, getting in the backfield. They've done it all game. Man, I've just been really impressed with that front 3 lineup that they play on the defensive line, and you get a big stop there. And just 2 chances left now for the Greenheads to get into the end zone.
3rd and 3. McLean takes a snap. Got some time in the pocket. Met by Johnson. The throw off the fingertips of the receiver and incomplete. 4th down.
And at this point in the game, you could say either the last team to score wins or the first team to come up with a stop wins. And so this is a big play here by both teams. If the Woo come up with a stop at this point, then they have the lead, then a touchdown gets them 6 more points. Could make it a 2-possession game with a 1 or 2 point conversion. A lot riding on this play here.
So a big play up for McLean. 4th and 7. He'll take the snap. He's got plenty of time in the pocket. Rusher comes to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Greenheads. McLean, the pocket integrity was there for him, and he awarded his offensive line with a touchdown.
There was Quad Smith again, one of those playmakers we've talked about all game, kid who played his college football and ran track and field at Akron University for the Zips. Played for Terry Bowden when he was the coach there. He scored 7 touchdowns in 2017 for Akron University. Just a great player on this roster who, a lot of these guys are just trying to continue their career any way they can. Quad Smith is a guy who actually, if he performs well, could get some looks from some higher level leagues in the Arena League.
He's already gotten some looks from the professional level. Going for 2. And the dump off, and that's going to get nowhere. And a hard hit by the Woo defense to snuff out the 2-point attempt. But nonetheless, the Greenheads do take the lead, 38-34 your score. Monroe up 4 over the Iowa Woo in their first game as a franchise. Terry Bowden has really put his blood, sweat, and tears into this one so far. He's taken a tackle.
Yes, yeah, we saw Terry Bowden get banged up earlier, had to get taken off the field in a stretcher. Much to his chagrin, he didn't seem to be wanted to get carted off, but he came back on the field under his own power, and now he's out there coaching them back up again. A guy who knows a lot of these players well. I just mentioned Quad Smith, who he coached when he was at Akron. So many players on this team went to Louisiana Monroe and would have played for Bowden there, including Mark Britt went there, Frederick Lloyd went there, Dion McNeil, Colby Rivera, all guys who would have played for the University of Louisiana Monroe, guys who know Terry Bowden well. And that's something that, again, you talk about the little things that can make a difference in a game like this. One of those is just these guys having that comfortability, that chemistry with their coach already. that gets you maybe a few steps ahead when you start a season. So a little bit of advantage that the Greenheads can have when they have already so much familiarity with each other.
A throw off here. Kyvon Smith in for the Woo. Will receive the throw in the end zone. He'll take it out. Smith makes one-man tackle, tackled down at the 12-yard line, and that is where the Woo will set up. They'll give him maybe one more yard, the 13-yard line for the Woo. You know, and one thing about the Arena League and about arena football in general, you won't get this anywhere else with the stuff we've had today. One of the most legendary coaches in college football took a tackle at 70 years old. The score is 34-38 in the fourth quarter with 11 minutes to go. And
since we are broadcasting mainly online, we don't have any local competition to go up against. I don't mind giving a promotion to KWWL, Mark Woodley. He was here shooting highlights of that game, had a great shot of Terry Bowden getting taken down that you might see on the news tonight. So gotta love your local news coverage here at the game, getting all the great highlights that they have here.
Sharp takes a snap. Looking to throw, just a little off target for the receiver. Second down. You know, and then we saw Red Panda at halftime, a living legend. I mean, has to be in the top 10 of all-time great halftime entertainers.
Truly. And that's somebody, I mean, I don't know if the Arena League blew their entire halftime show budget on Red Panda.
Had to have.
That is a great gift for the season opener to bring her to town. She really has played performed on some of the biggest stages. Not much of a competition for her.
Second and 10, dumped off. And a swarm of Greenheads, a flock, if you will, come to get the tackle, but a nice gain on second down. Third and medium coming up for the Woo.
Yep, another important possession for the Woo, just like it was on the Greenheads last possession, because at this point as well, the Woo don't have much real estate to work with if they don't score a touchdown on every single drive at this point. So they have to keep the ball in their hands, keep the ball moving.
The snap, Sharp, quick pass, first down, a little bit more. The receiver sticking onto the defender like glue and dragging him for some more yardage down to the 18-yard line.
There was Leslie Owusu again on the catch. Kid whose dad is a professor here at the University of Northern Iowa, has spent his entire life basically on this campus, and just love getting a chance to see a kid like that have the ability to compete at this level. Once you bring professional football here, Owusu is a kid who has a lot of connections, can bring some fans to the table already.
Sharp has time, out of the pocket, throw over the middle, and intercepted. His third of the game, not what he wants to see, and the Greenheads take over on an interception.
Yep, that's Trayvon Guano, a guy who played his college ball in the state of Iowa as well. He was at William Penn University down in Oskaloosa. And that could be a game-shifting type of play for the Greenheads, because with the Woo down 4, if the Greenheads can march down the field now and convert with another touchdown, boy, that is a deep hole to work out of with a 2-possession disadvantage in the fourth quarter with under 10 minutes left. This is a time where the Woo really need to either come up with a stop or get a chance to maybe have another turnover, as they would be in desperation mode if they don't get a stop here.
The cardinal sin as a quarterback, across the body towards the middle of the field, and that one was picked. First play, McLean dumps it off for a gain of about 3.
Great tackle there by Jamie Vicente Colon. He's made some big plays today. Had that interception that brought back, and then ended up getting Coach Bowden injured, but he's been a great player on defense today. The Woo with, I say this loosely with the Arena League because there's a lot of scoring involved, but a pretty good defensive showings today so far.
And that's going to be a flag. McLean passes off and gets tackled about 2 yards short of the first down. We will see what that fabric on the turf is all about.
Movement up front. See who made the first movement. It looks like looks like offsides on the Woo. It's been kind of the story of the second half here. The Woo have been killing themselves on penalties so far, giving up a lot of turf to the Greenheads.
So the ball will move up about 5 yards. Still second down. Second and 2 now. McClain looking to make some more magic. He's had some great plays in this one. Fading away, dumped off, first down, a little bit more at the 25. Gets taken down at the 24-yard line of the Woo. Across midfield now for the Greenheads.
We've talked about the advantage of having a guy like Division I football player on the roster. That's what you had in there. Number 9 who caught that pass, Frederick Lloyd. He had a long career at the University of South Florida before he, too, transferred to Louisiana Monroe. Another guy who's a talented athlete. He's going to catch a lot of passes from McClain this year.
First and 10, the 24-yard line of the Woo. Greenheads looking to extend to a 2-possession game. And a miscommunication. Looking back to coach for some guidance. First play, and that's going to be almost blown up. Gets about back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard or so.
The Greenheads have not run the ball very much today. The Woo are dominating them in terms of rushing yards, but this is a point now in the game where we're approaching the 7-minute mark. If you're the Greenheads, why not run a little bit more time off the clock? Try to get this game down to zeros if you can.
7 minutes to go in this one in the opening of the 2026 Arena League season. McClain takes the snap, dump off. There's some room now, about a 5-yard gain. Get down to about the 21-yard line. Going to be about 2nd and 5. One spotted. And how awesome is it to have professional football in the Unidome? It's such a special moment.
Yep. A building this year that's celebrating 50 years. 1976, the Unidome first opened the doors here in Cedar Falls.
On a campus that's celebrating its 150th anniversary. 3rd and 6. McClain, some movement up front and a throw. Won't matter. The penalty will.
And it looks like that was another offsides. Indeed, as we get the call. That wasn't Apollo Johnson, who's had such a great game on the defensive line, really put Tim McClain under a lot of pressure. He came up with that safety earlier in the game. But there, he's going to give up another 5 yards. That's 10 yards on this drive now that the Woo have given up to the Greenheads on penalties alone. Killing themselves in that area. Man, now down to the 15-yard line.
3rd and short. McClain and the Greenheads looking to put 6 on the board.
Running as much play clock as they can.
Here's a snap, low snap. Retrieved, caught. It's gonna be a face mask call on the Woo as the receiver gets down to about the 7-yard line. So again, the penalties on this drive alone, giving up some big yardage. That's gonna put them really close to 6 now.
Yep.
Half a distance to the goal. Put them about the 3-yard line.
Oh, boy.
Be spotted about the 4, 3.5-ish.
That make about 22 yards worth of the field that the Woo have given up on this drive on penalties alone. Talk about the difference in a game. That has proven to be the difference in this second half, certainly, is penalty yards. Man, Woo just shooting themselves on the foot every other play, it seems.
1st and goal. McClain looking for pay dirt. Takes a snap. Will keep it himself. Can't run it in. Pass to the end zone. No indication yet.
I think
that's going to be
short. But that's something that's going to play into the Greenheads' favor because they, too, want to keep this clock moving as much as they can. We're approaching 5 minutes now. They can take another 20 seconds off once the play clock starts. Keeps running, and that's going to run the Woo out of real estate if the Greenheads can get in the end zone again.
Clock ticking past 5. 4:57 on the clock, and that'll keep ticking down. They can't run this ball in. The quarterback can't, but the running back can. And a flag on the play. And it's a touchdown indication on the field, but the penalty likely will negate that. We will get the call. And a defensive penalty, so it won't matter. A touchdown for the Greenheads. So an illegal defensive move, legal defensive stance,
yep,
and a touchdown.
Jatarius Turpin bringing that one in. That's going to stretch us to a 10-point lead. And the Greenheads now just going to settle for a 1-point conversion attempt now. Now a 2-possession game and a big uphill climb if the Woo want to get back into this game.
A big 1-point conversion here. If the Woo can stop it, they can at least get some momentum going their way. Under pressure, back in the end zone, incomplete. The receiver had his hand on it, but couldn't control it.
If I could put my finger on 2 things that the Greenheads have not done well today, one is figuring out the throw-off rules. That's something that they're going to need to work on in the week ahead. The other one is conversion attempts. Just have not done well on that at all. They could really be putting this game out of reach if they just put those conversions in there. That's something, too. I don't know if they just need to figure out their plays from the 10 or the 5-yard line. They've done so well with a full open field. Maybe back themselves up to the opposite 10-yard line. Let Timmy McClain air the ball out a little bit more for the conversion attempts. But that's one area where they have come up short, and that alone just about has allowed the Woo to stay in this game. But now, as the Woo are about to take the throw off from James Herrard, this is kind of do or die time, because if they don't score on this next possession, there's not much room for them to come back in this game.
Both teams still do have all 3 timeouts. So that's one thing going in the Woo's favor. They still have those timeouts in their pocket. But a 10-point game. But in fairness, I mean, 6 seconds was all it took for the Greenheads to get a touchdown.
Yep.
So don't necessarily need a lot of time. So Woo can mount a comeback here. 44, your score. Greenheads up 10. The throw is a good one into the end zone. Caught and taken out by the Woo at the 10-yard line before he's jammed into the wall at the 11.
And if the situation does arise, there is a wrinkle in the onside kick rule for the Arena League, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But they do, again, as we've mentioned over and over, no kicking in this game, no foot-to-football opportunities for either team on a punt or a field goal or a kickoff or anything like that. And so they had to find a new rule to make sure that there was an onside element to the game. And so if the Woo get a touchdown here, I'd imagine that would be what they elect to do, unless they make it a really quick score here. So we'll cross that bridge and detail those rules if the opportunity arises.
9:21 p.m. here in Cedar Falls, Iowa. We're hoping everyone's having a great night. We appreciate you joining us here. First pass, first down and a little bit more, down to the 23-yard line. And a little bit of extracurricular after the play. No fabric on the field yet, but a good first down for the Woo as the clock ticks.
There's Braden Bessie on the receiving end of that catch. He's a guy who's made a couple of nice plays today. Probably like to see the ball in his hands a little bit more, but Bessie able to get them across the midfield point and just get them in scoring position.
We appreciate everyone joining us on a big sports night in America. Of course, the NBA Finals Game 7 happening in Oklahoma City. But a game happening here. Down to the 10. Caught for another first down. This game coming down to the wire.
Braden Bessie again. Now he gets him inside the 10-yard line. As we approach 3 minutes left on the clock. Time is running out for the Woo. Got to score pretty quick here if we want to stay in this game.
Ball spotted about the 10-yard line. At the 9. Receiver in motion. Sharp takes the snap. Pump fakes. Gets out of trouble. Going up the middle. Makes a man miss. Down to about the 2-yard line. And we'll get there. So at the 2 now. is Vernon Sharp. Has struggled through the air in the second half, and really the second half of the first half, the second quarter, but doing it with his legs now. 2:17 on the clock. Snap by Sharp. Looking for a man. Back of the end zone. Knocked out of play, incomplete.
It was a time where kind of threw it into traffic. Trey Henderson got his hand on that one, and we're going to approach the 2-minute warning. And the Woo still trying to get into the end zone to creep one step closer to coming back into this game.
2-minute warning. Fourth quarter, Woo down 10, looking to make a comeback. 44-34 your score. Greenheads looking good in their first game, up 10 over the Woo. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching the Arena League. Two-minute warning. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock. At the 2-yard line is the Woo. Sharp takes the snap, looking for a man. Dancing in the pocket. He's got his time, and a flag on the field. Steps up, throw, intercepted. Intercepted by the Greenheads.
Yeah. That's a play where if you're Sharp, maybe you want to have just a little more awareness, because the flag came down. There was going to be a holding call right in front of him anyway. And so at that point, just throw the ball out of bounds. Just throw it away rather than trying to throw it in traffic, because that's the worst thing that you want to happen, is turn the ball over, because now you're going down 2 possessions and giving the Greenheads the football again.
We'll wait for the official word. So at the end of the day, fouls by both teams.
Right.
So the Woo will keep the ball, and really they could pray their lucky stars for that one.
I'll eat my words partially, but still, if you're Sharp, that's a ball you just want to chuck that as far as you can, just because it's going to be a penalty on the play anyway. You saw your guy holding the defender right in front of you. He's got to get rid of the ball at that point. So some offsetting penalties do at least give the Woo one more chance to remain in this game and have one more shot at getting into the end zone. And if they do, we're going to cover the onside conversions, as I was refreshing my memory about the onside attempt rule, which we'll go through if the Woo get a chance to get in the end zone here.
They will play it again. 3rd and 2. 4th down. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. In a 10-point game, a touchdown will cut it down to 4. Sharp takes the snap, hands it off, And a good stop by the defense of the Greenheads to force fourth down. A tough shot. And the running back is shaken up, understandably so, after that play.
Yep. There was Braden Bessie again, who's gotten the ball a few times on this drive.
And the Woo do have all 3 timeouts. They elect not to use it. 1:20 on the clock, and time's running off the clock here for the Woo.
Boy, yeah, I don't know why you. I guess you just want to hold on to it in case the Greenheads get the ball back. Want to hold on to those timeouts, but I'd like to see a little more urgency here.
Gonna go under 1 minute. Sharp outside the pocket, looking for a man, and he's taken down. And Sharp goes out of the pocket and pays for it. The Greenheads get the stop they're looking for, and that'll all but put it away here in Cedar Falls.
Wouldn't you know, it'd be the Arena League veteran, Eric McIntosh Sr., coming in with a clutch play. I hate to age anybody because I just turned 40 years old, but Eric McIntosh just turned 39 years old on May 27th. He's been in the league since, not this league obviously, but he's been around different Arena League teams since 2010. He's played for 13 different teams. Even here in Iowa, he played for the Iowa Barnstormers in 2013. And he comes up with a play that might just be the one that seals this win for the Greenheads. As you mentioned, the Woo do have all 3 of their timeouts left, but boy, you're really asking a lot. Down 10 with under a minute left. The chances are running slim here for the Woo.
Hey, and about his age, you know, age doesn't matter when you're a dog, and he's a dog for sure. That play gonna get a lot of yardage. Down to the 10, tackled down at the 11-yard line. A big pass play by McLean under pressure. The timeout taken by the Woo. 48 seconds on the clock, but now the Greenheads are almost in red zone territory.
Yeah, it gives you a few extra options. One rule wrinkle that we've mentioned with the Arena League is that the play clock is a little bit shorter. It's only 20 seconds. So when you're doing your math of timeouts versus downs versus amount of time left in the game, it does give you a little bit more leeway as opposed to the 35-second play clock that you see at other levels. So the Woo don't want to put them in the loss column just quite yet, but they would really need a miracle here if they want to come back in this game.
Monroe Greenheads. Apologies to the Monroe listeners and viewers over on YouTube. Almost 700 of you. Thank you so much. Tuning in. A great night in sports. Game 7 of the NBA Finals and Game 1 of the 2026 Arena League season. And your team and on the edge of win number 1 in their history.
Yep, they've got a roster filled with talented players. The Greenheads with a win already. If they finish this one off, boy, that's a great way to start the season. This is a dangerous team that looks like they could be one to compete for a title this year.
And you know, one of the things that's kind of not going to show up on a stat sheet when you look at guys, especially in a league like this, they've got heart. They've got the heart. They've got the will to play as the running back trips down and a timeout's taken by the Woo. 42 on the clock. I mean, they have the guys to win a championship in this league, and in a league that's fairly wide open, right? Competitive, a lot of turnover in these leagues as players come and go. And
not only do players come and go, but teams come and go. Of course, the league champion for the first 2 years was the squad out of Duluth, and they left the league after winning the league title. The first 2 seasons that the Arena League was around, Duluth left to join Arena Football 1. So no matter what, we're going to have a first-time champion this year.
That's what you like to see. So a timeout here, 41 on the clock. And big shout out to all of our cameramen, our production team, our producer Drew back in Illinois with Clutch Sports Media. Doing us right here in Cedar Falls, and will do us right for the rest of the season. Jason Stivers, Owen Sebring here with you for this one. 41 on the clock. And that run blown up. Will lose some on that play.
There's Apollo Johnson with another tackle for loss there. And that'll be the last time out there for the Woo. So out of chances now. We're going to see 3rd down
39 seconds on the clock.
Some interesting strategy now if you are the Greenheads, because there's, again, a 20-second play clock. So, of course, they'll run one more play, be able to run some time off there, and then the 20-second play clock. So after that, there would be, roughly 20 seconds left in the game, and then you've got to decide what you want to do from there. If you want to, I don't imagine you'd surrender the ball, so just go for it on fourth down at that point. So probably just run the ball here, try to maybe let Timmy McClain take the ball and run around a little bit. Try to burn as much of that clock as you can.
"39 seconds on the play clock here in Cedar Falls inside the Unidome. The first game of the regular season. They played an exhibition game last week, but the first real game, quote unquote, for this team of the season. And unfortunately, it's looking more and more likely that's going to go in the L category. Third down play will get a few yards. And a stoppage of the clock, 33 seconds now. Fourth down. So the last gasp for the Woo. They've been good on defense. Do they have a miracle in them? 33 seconds. They're down 10. Monroe looking to twist the knife. Snap. Pass. Broken up. Incomplete. Turnover on downs. 29 seconds on the clock, so
boy,
don't necessarily call it just yet.
You talk about game-changing plays. Jamie Vicente Colon just about had one there. If he was able to keep his hands on that ball, he had a pretty wide open field where he could brought that thing back for a pick six, which would be the best case scenario for the Woo, because then they have a touchdown and then they could do the onside attempt. As it stands, now they're backed up at their own 6-yard line, so the game's not over yet, but they are going to need a touchdown within the next play or two if they want any hope of keeping this game alive.
The good news for the Woo is they can spike the ball within 2 minutes. The bad news is even spiking the ball takes a lot of time, but less men on the field to reorganize. So, I mean, there is a...
Yeah, I got to think you're going to want to throw the ball pretty deep down the field here right away.
29 seconds. Vernon Sharp standing right in front of the goal line. Takes the snap. Looking downfield. Will air it out. He's got a man in single coverage. And incomplete. No flag. 22 seconds on the clock, second down.
There was Leslie Owusu again, nearly pulled off the great catch there over the defensive back. Couldn't quite haul it in, so we have 22 seconds left now as the Woo try to get something going into the end zone. Again, there is an onside possibility if the Woo do score here, but they're going to need to score in a hurry. 22 seconds left here as we get to second down.
Second and 10. Sharp takes a snap, backs up, makes a move, dump off pass. He's got some room. Oh, a great shoestring tackle with 10 seconds on the clock, and that's going to most likely do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more play, but really all cosmetic at this point. The throw to the end zone, intercepted. Oh. And the Monroe Greenheads get their first win of the season, get their first win as a team, get their first win as a franchise. 1-0. The Greenheads are 34-44 the score. The Greenheads take it by 10. And a complete game for the Greenheads, a complete game from Timmy McClain. Very few mistakes in that game for the quarterback, who made a journey during college but has found a home in Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Timmy McClain was great. He was outstanding all game. His only blemish was that interception that just kind of was fumbled around between his receiver and a few defenders in the back of the end zone. And so he really was about as good as you could possibly want out of your quarterback. That's a guy that you can kind of build your franchise around, frankly. Timmy McClain has been around the block. He's played under a lot of coaches, but he brings so much experience to the table. He's a guy that you can rely on. And when you got a coach like Terry Bowden there, I mean, boy, what more could you want? Not every coach, not every team in the Arena League has a former national championship college football coach on the sideline. He's a guy who can do it well and can bring this Monroe team to success if they can pull things off this year.
This team looks locked in after week 1 as we look at some of the highlights of this one. 34 your final. Terry Bowden gets his 188th win as a coach at the professional and college level, and man, he got a hit. He took a hit doing it, so a chippy one here in Cedar Falls. A nice prayer circle in the middle, forming between both teams, a good show of sportsmanship. But we say goodnight, 44-34, Monroe Greenheads over the Iowa Woo. For the entire crew here in Cedar Falls in the Unidome, I'm Jason Stivers. He's Owen Sebring. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.